Chapter 46-43. This is what Realm Master Xiao said. Duan Lingtian nodded, placing his hand on the stone table in front of him and tapping it gently, frowning slightly. This was the first time he heard that there were beings above the 7th level of the strongest who had died, and there were 3 of them. It's amazing. You must know that there are only a few dozen powerful beings above the 7th level since his master. This is because the Babel Tower opened new functions thousands of years ago to help a group of powerful people improve their strength. Now all 3 of them were gone. Of those 3, Feng Qingyang hesitated for a moment, then continued to ask, "Is there an Aguli? Master, did you guess this?" Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that his master would suddenly say such a sentence, because Xiao Mubai did mention that the person who died in Hongming Realm was mentioned in the message to him just now. One of the 3 most powerful 7th-level powerhouses, he is exactly in the past before the new functions of the Tower of Babel appeared. The 5th Eagle entered the 7th level of the strongest. Is he really there? Feng Qingyang's pupil shrank slightly. Judging from his disciple's current performance, he knew that he had guessed correctly. It's him. Duan Lingtian nodded. Feng Qingyang smiled bitterly, and his eyes shone with the luster of sorrow. Thousands of years ago, he was very curious about the world behind the 9 mysterious entrances. He even traveled to all walks of life and confirmed that the 9 entrances in each world lead to 9 identical ones. The place. If it weren't for his limited strength, he might have explored that mysterious world long ago. So, you just said that 3 people died in Hongming Realm, and those who died were all powerful 7th-level beings. I guessed that there might be him. Feng Qingyang was also very impressed by Agula's enthusiasm for the mysterious world back then, and he could tell at that time that the other party would not give up easily. If given the opportunity, he would definitely explore the space world corresponding to the 9 mysterious entrances. Now sure enough it is. However, the ending was unsatisfactory. As strong as Aguli, he still died inside despite joining forces with 2 other newly promoted 7th-level warriors. Now I feel more and more that the way the Heavenly Tao opens new functions of the Tower of Babel, gives birth to the strongest, and allows the strongest to rapidly increase their strength, is probably really related to the space world corresponding to the 9 mysterious entrances. 3 of them disappeared at once. Not one of the strongest 7th-level beings escaped, so it was unlikely that it was the work of a monster. Duan Lingtian guessed with a solemn expression. After all, in the past, both Master and Aguli escaped from the hands of monsters after entering the mysterious entrance. If any of you can escape, let alone 3 of them? There are probably some variables inside. It's a pity that everyone died inside. I just don't know if their legal clones outside left any useful information before their original self died. Having said this, Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed, and then he almost stood up together with his master. The 2 of them unanimously decided to take a trip to Hongming Realm, to see if the 3 people left any useful news. Duan Lingtian has long heard about the space world behind the 9 mysterious entrances, which cannot be entered by law clones. Therefore, the 3 people who died in Hongming Realm must be me. Although the other law clones will disappear as soon as the main body dies, the law clones still have time to leave some news before the death of the main body. This time, Duan Lingtian and the 2 went to Hongming Realm, hoping to know from the mouths of the 3 people what happened before they died. A monster with the strongest 8th-level strength should not be enough to annihilate their entire army. Ada Gang Tribe. After Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang entered the Hongming Realm, they immediately went to the forces behind Aguli. In the past, Duan Lingtian had followed Xiao Mubai, the leader of the anti-god realm, so he was familiar with the journey, and soon they with his master came to the Adagon tribe. After arriving at the Adagon tribe, Duan Lingtian's consciousness unfolded, and he could detect the strange atmosphere of the Adagon tribe. Everyone seemed lifeless and lost their souls. What's happening here? Duan Lingtian was a little puzzled, but he didn't know what was going on until the strong men from the Adagon tribe knew about his arrival, and came out to greet him. But it was Agulis' death that plunged the entire Adagon tribe into mourning. Almost everyone in the tribe regarded Aguli as faith, the greatest god, and an immortal and eternal existence. But now the gods they believed in have died. In their world, it is tantamount to the end of the world. I came here this time to ask. Brother Aguli, before he died, did the law clone who stayed here tell you about what happened to him? Seeing the sadness in the other person's brows, Duan Lingtian asked straight to the point. And this elderly elder of the Adagon tribe is also one of the few remaining realm lords in the Adagon tribe, and he is also a newly promoted realm lord in the past 1,000 years. 1,000 years ago, he and the current realm lords of the Adagon tribe were just half-step realm lord. On the other side of Rini God realm, those half-step world masters have also taken a crucial step through the Babel Tower and entered the realm of world masters, and can live for a long time. They originally regarded the next powerful man's calamity as a fierce tiger, but now they didn't pay attention at all, and even agreed that the calamity could be easily overcome with one hand. These were the exact words that Realm Lord Xiao Mubai told him. Of course, Xiao Mubai entered the realm of realm before the new functions of the Babel Tower appeared. Now, with the help of the Babel Tower, after thousands of years, he is getting closer and closer to the 7th level of the strongest. If nothing unexpected happens, he will definitely be the 3rd most powerful 7th level powerhouse in the Nishan realm after Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang. Certainly. What we are talking about here are the aboriginals of the counter-god realm. We do not include the powerful Zhongshan of the emerged realm, who later migrated to the counter-god realm, because Zhongshan successfully stepped out of the realm as early as 300 years ago. Took a crucial step to become the strongest, the 7th level. The old man said with a bitter look on his face. Before Aguli died, he told us what happened to him and the other 2 adults inside. He said that he and the other 2 adults just planned to try out the area near the entrance. However, they never thought about the depth of that monster. As soon as they besieged the monster, they could not fight each other until the 20th move, when 2 people who were stronger than the monster suddenly came. A powerful presence. Those are 2 strong human beings. Once they take action, Aguli and the 3 of them have no chance to escape. Aguli said that one of the strong human beings is only slightly stronger than the monster, and the other strong human being is stronger than the monster. Strong, the 3 of them are also imprisoned by each other, so that there is no way to escape and return to Hongming realm. Chapter 46-44. After listening to the words of the world leader of the Adagon tribe, Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang looked at each other, and they both saw solemn looks in each other's eyes. Behind the mysterious entrance, besides the powerful monsters that look like monsters, are there actually humans? This was something they didn't expect. According to their original guess, the creatures in that mysterious world should all exist like gatekeeper monsters. The appearance of strong human beings made them feel that the mysterious world seemed to be covered with an even more mysterious veil. Can you tell me his exact words? Feng Qingyang looked at the other party and asked. After learning from the other party the message from the law clone that Aguli left here before his death, Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang asked him about the situation of the other 2 people who entered the mysterious entrance together with Aguli, and finally said goodbye and prepared to leave. Open. Condolences. Before leaving, they comforted each other, and then the 2 of them continued towards the forces behind the other 2. Those 2 forces are also the top forces in the Hongming realm. The former realm master has gone a step further and reached the level of Aguli. In addition, they were already on good terms with Aguli, and they were also interested in the world behind the mysterious entrance, so when Aguli took the initiative to propose an expedition, the 2 of them readily agreed and went with him. Unexpectedly, a hasty decision cost them their lives. After practicing for many years, everything has become a dream, which is sad and lamentable. It seems. The world behind that mysterious entrance may be the same as ours. There are both great monsters and powerful humans. After visiting the forces behind the other 2 people and asking some questions, Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang returned to the Nishan realm. Their faces extremely solemn. I have a gut feeling. Feng Qingyang's eyes flickered. I'm afraid this peace right now won't last long. Duan Lingtian nodded and frowned slightly. He felt the same way. Although he enjoys the peace of the moment, and does not need to worry too much about peace. Because now he has enough strength to protect the people he cares about, and even enough to suppress everything at the moment. However, there are 9 mysterious entrances that exist simultaneously in many realms of the 10,000 realms, including the counter-god realm, and what just happened in the Hongming realm. Coupled with Tiando's changes in recent years, he also vaguely felt that this peace would soon be broken. Next, I will call all my relatives and friends back, and let them enter the small world inside my body to practice. Duan Lingtian said in a deep voice. For them this is the safest. For me that's the most reassuring thing. Not only his parents and wife who are still in the anti-god realm, but also other relatives and friends, even the children who have gone to the outside world, the 3 little ones in Xuanai, he will bring them back this time and force them back. Whether they want it or not. Resistance is futile. In fact, he is doing the same now. Father. Father? Boss. Elder brother. Outside the boundary, when Duan Yintian, Duan Siling and others saw Duan Lingshan's time law clone appearing, they were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect that Duan Lingtian could follow them here. Of course, they couldn't tell whether the Duan Lingtian in front of them was the original deity or a clone of the law. They just thought it was the original deity coming in person. Go back with me. Duan Lingtian opened his mouth, and without waiting for anyone to retort, he waved his hand and powerful force invaded everyone's bodies, bound them, and then led them away from the outside world. There were no hiccups along the way. He didn't even let his children wait for anyone to talk to him. If he had anything to say, he could wait until he got back. Facing Duan Lingshan's tyranny, although several people were helpless, there was nothing they could do. Compared to Duan Yintian, who was still struggling, Duan Siling, Han Xuanai and the 3 little ones were relatively quiet, and even looked guilty at one point. Snapped. Seeing that his son was so ignorant, Duan Lingtian immediately gave him a big mouth, and the world suddenly fell silent. After bringing them back to the Nishan realm, Duan Lingtian gathered the rest of his family and friends together, told them the whole story, and told them what he and his master Feng Qingyang had guessed 1,000 years ago. Before the separation of history, because of the appearance of those foreign invaders, heaven launched an apocalyptic plan to kill everything, just to extract the power of heaven and earth to consolidate the defense line and resist foreign enemies? In this era we live in, heaven intentionally limits the number of the most powerful people and restricts the emergence of the 7th level of the most powerful. Is it to better extract the power of heaven and earth to defend against enemies? In recent years, the way of heaven has been abnormal. Is it because it can no longer bear the burden for us, and we need to face the invading foreign enemies ourselves? After listening to Duan Lingshan's words, not only the family and friends around him, but also senior sister Huangfu Mengyuan, and others who came from the inner palace of Wanfa Academy were shocked. Although Duan Lingtian added that all this was speculation by him and his master, everyone inexplicably felt that it made sense, and that this should be the truth. For a moment, everyone felt the pressure increase greatly. Even Duan Yintian stopped making trouble at this time. After knowing the truth of the matter, he became completely honest. However, the dream of being strong in my heart has not been extinguished because of this, but my fighting spirit has been high. Even if I am hiding in the little world inside my father's body, I will become stronger as soon as possible and do my best for this world. I am Duan Lingshan's son. I can't embarrass my father. Duan Yintian thought silently in his heart. Over the years he seems to be out of tune, but could it be because he wants to become an upright man like his father Duan Lingtian? His father, who rose from a humble beginning, was able to stand at the pinnacle, convincing even the veteran strongmen in the Nishan realm. All of this made him proud and even excited. He doesn't seek to be comparable to his father. He just seeks not to embarrass him. Although all of this is just speculation by Master and I, you'd better stay in the little world inside my body before confirming the truth of the matter. Duan Lingtian said, Father, the land of divine relics is also part of the small world inside your body. Can I stay in the land of divine relics? Duan Yintian asked with some guilt. None of the people present were outsiders. They had known for a long time that the land of divine relics was a part of the small world inside Duan Lingshan's body. It was possible before, but not now. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Although the land of divine relics is also a small world inside my body, I can get back from the outside very quickly, but it still takes some time. You cannot leave the little world inside my body until the specific threat is confirmed. Duan Lingtian was informing everyone, not discussing with them. It didn't matter if he didn't have enough strength before. Now that he has strength, he will naturally not put his family and friends in danger. Little junior brother, let the second junior brother, third junior brother and little junior sister also enter the small world inside your body. As for me, I will not enter. Huangfu Mingyuan said. After 1,000 years, the former half-step world master elder sister has also entered the realm of world master. As for the second senior brother, third senior brother and fourth senior sister, they have also stepped into the strongest realm one after another in these 1,000 years. Senior sister, you are already a realm master, so naturally you don't need to take refuge. Duan Lingtian smiled. He is just preparing for a rainy day. With the talent and understanding of his senior sister, he might not be able to take a further step and step into the 7th level before the disaster comes. Chapter 46-45. Sister. At this time, the third senior brother Yang Yuchen on the side shook his head and said, "If I haven't stepped into the strongest realm yet, and you arrange it like this, even if I don't want to, but in order not to worry you, I will acquiesce to your arrangement." Arrange. But the problem is, I am now the strongest. If you become the strongest, you can enter the Babel Tower at any time to improve your strength and prepare for possible disasters in the future. As a member of this world, it is my duty to protect this world, Yang Yuchen said loudly. Before Huangfu Mingyuan could speak, Duan Lingshan's second senior brother Hong Yifeng and fourth senior sister Lang Chunyuan also spoke one after another. And the meaning they expressed was the same as Yang Yuchen. Now that they have all stepped into the supreme power, they naturally do not want to be flowers in the greenhouse. They have to rely on their own efforts to create a world, and even catch up with the senior sister. As for the younger brother, that was a complete pervert, and they had no interest in pursuing it. Huangfu Mingyuan wanted to persuade them again, but after seeing the determination on the three people's faces, she couldn't help but sigh. That's it, let you go. We are all powerful people now, no longer the little monks we used to be. Duan Lingtian, who saw that senior sister was a little depressed, smiled and comforted him. Senior sister, the two senior brothers and the fourth senior sister have made such a decision. It's excusable. If any of my family, relatives, or friends step into the strongest realm, I'm afraid it will be the same. I don't want to hide in the little world inside my body. Although he can practice normally in the small world inside his body, and it is not even slower than outside, but compared to the outside, many aspects are much boring. After all, the outside world is a big dye-vat of society, full of variety, and in the small world inside his body, there was very little life. Regarding this point, Duan Lingtian actually thought of a way to solve it. He has already planned to go to the Realm Master Xiao Mubai to discuss whether the land of divine relics can be completely integrated into the small world inside his body. In this way, his family and friends can feel like they are in the land of divine relics in the past. And the land of divine relics can be this piece of land the life on the earth has skyrocketed. However, if the small world inside his body is completely integrated, it will be inconvenient for the life on the land of divine relics to leave the land of divine relics and go to the other planes of gods, and even the planes of the heavens. Since he hadn't discussed it with Xiao Mubai yet, he didn't mention it to his family. Yes, senior sister, don't worry, we will definitely take care of ourselves. The fourth senior sister Lang Chunyuan also comforted her at the right time. Duan Niantian, who was not far away, heard the exchange between his father and his disciples, and suddenly looked envious. It would be great if I was also the strongest. Then you don't have to hide in the little world inside your father's body. Duan Niantian had a headache when he thought of his father's boring little world inside his body. It was not as good as the little world inside his father's body that was parted and used as a land of divine relics. However, his father's attitude was very tough just now and he did not want him to continue to stay in the land of divine heritage. This made him helpless and powerless. Soon, Huangfu Mingyuan and the others said goodbye and left. They planned to enter the Babel Tower again to further improve their strength. Duan Lingtian sent his family and friends into the small world inside his body. Then he told his master Feng Qingyang his plan. Incorporate the life on the sacred land into the small world inside your body. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up. If this happens, it will be like an extra level of protection for those lives. That is, there will be appropriate restrictions on personal freedom. Yes, so I need to discuss it with World Master Xiao. Duan Lingtian nodded. Soon he sent a message and found the world leader Xiao Mubai. After hearing Duan Lingtian's plan, Xiao Mubai pondered for a moment and said, "This matter is easy to handle. You can directly integrate the sacred land into the small world inside your body. Before that, let me make an announcement to the lives on the land of divine relics. It is said that in half a year, the land of divine relics will be closed for 10,000 years. During this period, you will no longer be able to travel to and from the other planes of gods, nor can you enter the plane battlefield. In this way, those who are unwilling to accept it will naturally leave the land of divine heritage. Those who are willing to accept it will stay in the land of the gods." After listening to Xiao Mubai's suggestion, Duan Lingtian nodded. This was actually a good idea. That side of the realm formation? Duan Lingtian asked again. The part of the small world inside his body that he separated into the land of divine relics now also plays the role of the array eye of the great formation of the god realm. If he suddenly leaves, it will inevitably cause harm to the great formation of the realm. Have some impact. It's a small thing. Xiao Mubai smiled and said, "While you take back the land of the gods, I can find someone to separate the small world in the body and open another plane of the gods. In this way, the matter will be solved." The following few days, the land of divine relics has also become the focus of everyone's attention in the plane of gods in the anti-god realm. Just because news suddenly came out from the land of divine heritage, saying that in half a year, the land of divine heritage will be completely closed. For the next 1,000 years, it will no longer be possible to travel to and from the various planes of gods, nor to go there. Other places can only stay inside honestly. In other respects, everything remains unchanged. In fact, the richness of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth will be greatly increased, and life cultivation on the land of divine heritage will be more effective with half the effort. The reason why he said 1,000 years instead of 10,000 years as discussed with Xiao Mubai was due to Duan Lingtian's careful consideration. Thousands of years have finally taken a long time. Thousands of years are fine. As for after 1,000 years, he can connect the land of divine relics to the planes of gods, so that those who want to leave can leave, and those who want to come in can come in. It will be open for half a year, and then closed again for 1,000 years, until the guess is fulfilled. A possible disaster is coming. It didn't bother him. After all, everything is for your family, relatives and friends to live in a more comfortable humanistic environment. If there were no other lives around, it would be no different than being locked up in a cage by a group. As for the improvement of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth after the land of divine heritage is closed, it is not without purpose. Once the land of divine heritage is completely integrated into Duan Lingtian's inner world, he will be able to enjoy the spiritual energy of heaven and earth floating from that almost uninhabited area. Helps practice and improve strength. Where are you going? Go to the land of divine relics. The land of divine relics will be closed for 1,000 years in half a year. During the 1,000 years, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth will increase dramatically. You can get twice the result with half the effort by practicing there. Similar remarks are everywhere in the other planes of gods. This also caused the life of the sacred land to increase instead of decreasing. Although some people left, more people came in. Chapter 46-46. Half year later, Duan Lingtian completely integrated the sacred land of many cultivators into the small world inside his body, and placed it in a relatively central area, perfectly connected to the location of the divine tree of life. Certainly, in the area where the divine tree of life is located, he has arranged some means to prevent people from easily peeking into it. Even if a powerful world master has enough strength to break in, He will know it immediately once he gets close. However, there are no powerful Jiazun in the land of divine relics now. And even the most powerful ones are not many. Most people don't know his purpose for doing this, but the most powerful ones do. Therefore, many of the strongest people left early. After all, you will stay here for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, Duan Lingtian will give the people inside a chance to go to other planes of gods. Although, as the most powerful people, they knew that if they begged Duan Lingtian, they would be able to leave the land of divine relics. However, everyone has time to practice in seclusion, especially those with a cultivation level like Duan Lingtian. In their opinion, it is not uncommon to stay in seclusion for hundreds or thousands of years. Putting away the sacred land also meant that his family and friends had been settled. At this time, Duan Lingtian felt that there was no pressure and he felt light. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes became weird. I have taken all the land of divine relics into the small world inside my body, and the 1,000-year catastrophe that heaven targets against ordinary cultivators is still can appear in mine out of thin air, a small world inside the body. He couldn't help being surprised. Although in the past, a part of the small world in his body served as the land of divine heritage, whether it was a 1,000-year catastrophe for ordinary cultivators or a 10,000-year catastrophe for the most powerful, it all happened as promised, but he was not surprised. Because of him, the divided sacred land is not closed. It has the same nature as other planes of gods. But now, he deliberately closed the small world inside his body, but found that the rules of heaven seemed to be pervasive. Even the people hiding in the small world inside his body could not escape the 1,000-year catastrophe. The same is probably true for the 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation. That's right. If we can really avoid disasters like this, no one will be afraid of natural disasters anymore. Duan Lingtian thought about it and felt relieved again, feeling that the way of heaven should be so powerful. At the same time, he was even more scornful of old man Wukong's views on the way of heaven in the past. The old man deceived him quite a lot. For a long time, he felt that if a cultivator stepped into the 9th level of the strongest, he would be able to take one step forward, on par with the way of heaven. Now it seems that the power of heaven is far beyond imagination. Master, Duan Lingtian planned to spend the rest of the time in the Heavenly Emperor's palace in Annihilation Heaven, except for entering the Tongtian Tower. He would be with his master and exchange swordsmanship with each other. Maybe one day he would accumulate enough to push the other party to a higher level. Although his family and friends are all in the small world inside his body, and he can enter the Babel Tower in this way, there is no way to open the small world inside the Babel Tower. It is obvious that the law of heaven intentionally restricts stowaways. Not long after staying in the Nirvana Emperor's palace, Duan Lingtian saw a figure he hadn't seen for a long time. Master's wife. The person who came was none other than his junior wife, Xue Qingzhu. He is also one of the city lords of the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty in the land outside the boundary. He is also the first among the 13 city lords to reach the 7th level of the most powerful. In the past 1,000 years, 2 more city lords from the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty have successively entered the 7th level of the most powerful. This has also made the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty one of the most powerful forces in the outside world. Even more powerful than the second one that has been born. The 7th strongest, the Bibo Tianfu of this level, is even stronger. Another saint from Bibo Tianfu has also entered the 7th level of the most powerful in recent years. Duan Lingshan's old acquaintance, the master of the Golden Dragon Palace, Xiao Tianxi, has also stepped into the saint realm a long time ago. Last time Duan Lingtian went to the outside world to relax and meet him, it can be seen that it won't take long for him to step into the strongest realm. 7th level. The Qingyun Saint Sect Realm Master Zhaoani, who helped Duan Lingtian capture the man who killed the half-saint Duan Yue in the night, also successfully entered the 7th level of the most powerful hundreds of years ago. Of course, he learned about Zhao Enya's breakthrough from Meng Han. Xiao Tian. Xue Qingzhu had been a Taoist couple with Feng Qingyang for some time, and since they were from the martial arts world, Xue Qingzhu had long since lost his initial shyness and greeted Duan Lingtian calmly and generously. Master wife, This time you entered the Babel Tower. Have you made a breakthrough in swordsmanship? Duan Lingtian asked with a smile. If he breaks through, there will be something good to watch. He can see the scene of his master being brutally tortured by his own wife, and he is looking forward to it just thinking about it. It's not that easy to break through. Xue Qingzhu sighed. The 8th level of swordsmanship seems to be right in front of you, but it is difficult to take the crucial step. I admire you for letting swordsmanship enter the 3rd level so early. The 8th level, thus becoming the world, is the first most powerful 8th level person in the land outside the boundary. Originally, Duan Lingtian wanted to keep a low profile during his last breakthrough. But the problem is, God forbids him to keep a low profile. The text of Heavenly Tao actually appeared again, and was announced to all parties, saying that he had broken through to the 8th level of power, and became the first person of the 8th level after the break of history. That time, all the worlds and places outside the world were boiling with excitement. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect Duan Lingtian to take the next step so quickly, and become the first being in the contemporary generation to step into the 8th level of the strongest. Damn it! Lei Hong, who was lurking somewhere in the Mingguang realm, changed his expression when he saw the Tiandao text about Duan Lingtian's breakthrough. He cursed repeatedly. Why did this kid break through first? This makes him feel more uncomfortable than losing his cultivation level. Seeing that the master's wife had come out, Duan Lingtian did not intend to make a light bulb, and entered the Babel Tower again. But this time, he came out of Babel Tower on the 3rd day after entering, just because his law clone received a message. Not only in the Nishan realm, but also in other realms with 9 mysterious entrances in the 10,000 realms, one mysterious entrance suddenly and mysteriously disappeared. This made many people who paid attention to the mysterious entrance feel creepy. Among them, Duan Lingtian was also included. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. What is happening? After Duan Lingtian came out, he immediately gathered with his master and his wife. At the same time, Realm Master Xiao Mubai and Zhang Shan, who had stepped into the 7th level of the strongest, also came. The expressions on their faces were all changed. Extraordinarily solemn. The news first came from Hongmeng realm. Xiao Mubai said solemnly, because 3 powerful 7th level experts died in Hongmeng realm last time, many people paid great attention to those 9 mysterious entrants. Just yesterday, someone discovered that one of the mysterious entrances suddenly disappeared. After the news spreads, today, including our Nishan realm, all the realms with 9 mysterious entrances have lost one mysterious entrance. Chapter 46-47. Next, it's better to be careful. Feng Qingyang spoke in a deep voice. The 9 mysterious entrances that had existed for countless years, or that had existed since the beginning of history, suddenly and strangely lost one at this time. It was hard to avoid making people ponder, and even speculate. In the past, he and his disciple Duan Lingtian had guessed that Tiandao planned to let them resist the invading enemies behind the mysterious entrance, so they opened the Babel Tower to help increase their strength. They have made many preparations recently, and they are also prepared for the enemy to invade behind the 9 mysterious entrances. But I didn't expect. At this time, a mysterious entrance suddenly disappeared strangely. Several people are still talking about it. Suddenly, Realm Master Xiao Mubai's expression suddenly changed. What's wrong? Zhang Shan on the side was the first to notice something was wrong with Xiao Mubai's expression, and couldn't help but ask. For a moment, Duan Lingtian, Feng Qingyang and Xue Qingzhu all looked at Xiao Mubai. Based on their understanding of this Xiao Realm Master, unless there was something shocking, they would not let him be like this at all. That's right. Did something happen again? Duan Lingtian subconsciously asked. Did the enemy invade as the mysterious entrance disappeared? No. Under the eyes of several people, Xiao Mubai took a deep breath, his lips trembling slightly. The other 8 mysterious entrances have all disappeared. However, currently we only know that our Nishan realm has disappeared, and the other realms the domain doesn't know yet. When the first mysterious entrance disappeared, Xiao Mubai went to check it out personally. After confirming, He asked people to pay attention to the other 8 mysterious entrances. Just now he received 8 messages one after another. The people he arranged to monitor the other 8 mysterious entrances all sent messages to his law avatars staying in his training place, telling him all the 8 mysterious entrances. Disappearing message. What? Feng Qingyang's expression changed. The other 8 mysterious entrances also disappeared together? Duan Lingshan's pupils couldn't help but shrink. Xue Qingzhu stood aside, with a look of surprise and horror on her pretty face. Although she was not a native of the Nishan realm, when she became a Taoist couple with Feng Qingyang, she also learned about the 9 mysterious entrances to some realms of the world. I understand and have heard the speculations of the Taoist couple and their disciples. She also felt that the guess might be true. But since it is true, what happened to this sudden emergency situation? Why did all 9 mysterious entrances disappear? Could it be that Tiandao has repelled the invading enemies, so the 9 mysterious entrances have disappeared one after another? Xue Qingzhu guessed subconsciously. Impossible. Feng Qingyang shook his head. If Tiandao had the ability to repel the invading enemies, how could he have allowed the 9 mysterious entrances to exist for so many years? If he really had that ability, why would he have arranged it on the Babel Tower? Is that necessary? I always feel that this matter may not be as simple as I guessed. Duan Lingtian also deeply agreed with Feng Qingyang's statement. Let's wait and see what happens next. I don't think something is right either. First check whether the other 8 mysterious entrances in other realms with mysterious entrances in the world have disappeared. This is actually very easy to confirm. Xiao Mubai and Zhang Shan went out and quickly brought back confirmed news. The other 8 mysterious entrances in the major realms also disappeared. The time of disappearance was basically the same as the 8 mysterious entrances in our Nishan realm. The mysterious entrance disappeared at the same time. However, the major realms are still calm, and there are no signs of invasion by powerful people. Xiao Mubai said. And almost at the same time Xiao Mubai finished his words. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered in the sky, purple thunder entangled, and it was a familiar scene. It was not difficult for people in all worlds, and even those outside the world, to see that this was a sign that the heavenly words were about to appear. Sure enough, the Tiandao text soon appeared. From now on, the Babel Tower will open the 3rd entrance entwined with cyan thunder. This entrance will appear on the side of the other 2 entrances. All beings above the high-ranking gods can enter. If you pass any level inside, you will be able to enter. You will receive corresponding rewards. The 3rd entrance to the place is called the trial space. No matter you are a high-ranking or the most powerful person, you can enter. The rewards inside include, but are not limited to the Talisman of Heaven, and the realization of the 4 realms of heaven and earth at the 9th level. When this heavenly text appeared, all the worlds, and even the places outside the world, all boiled. However, Duan Lingtian and others looked at each other in confusion after reading the Tiandao text. The few of them were just talking about the disappearance of all 9 mysterious entrances. In the blink of an eye, the text of Tiandao appeared, and the Babel Tower opened the 3rd function of trial space. Moreover, can you get the Talisman of Heaven in it? And the insights into the 4 realms of heaven and earth at the 9th level? Why do I feel like Tiandao is constantly urging people to enter the Tower of Babel? After all, Xue Qingzhu is a woman and should be more careful. From the fact that Tiandao text informed this news at this time, combined with the 9 mysterious entrances that mysteriously disappeared, she also felt that something was wrong. In particular, after the Tiandao text, a line appeared again. The 3rd entrance to Babel Tower is only open for 1 month. Those who do not enter within 1 month will have to wait 1,000 years before they have the opportunity to enter again. The appearance of this line of Tiandao text completely changed the expressions of Duan Lingtian and others. In the past, there was no precedent for such closing of the other 2 entrances to the Tower of Babel. And now, the 3rd entrance is said to be closed after 1 month of opening? Will it open again after 1,000 years? Isn't this urging people above the gods to enter it? Now those beings above the gods are probably crazy. Zhang Shan murmured. Something is not quite right. I will go to the entrance of Jade Emperor's Babel Tower, and not let them in yet. Wait for more than 20 days and then check the situation. After all, Xiao Mubai is the master of the anti-god realm, and he is still very concerned about the safety of the creatures in the anti-god realm at critical moments. Although he felt that it was a bit ridiculous for heaven to take action against all living beings, what happened before and after had to make him wary. I will also go back to the place outside the boundary and ask the beings above the gods in the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty not to enter the Babel Tower for the time being. Xue Qingzhu was also anxious. In addition to her Taoist companions in the Nishan realm, she also had another home outside the realm. There were many people she cared about there, and she didn't want to see anything happen to them. "I'll go with you." Seeing the anxiety of his fellow Taoist, Feng Qingyang said repeatedly, and left with Xue Qingzhu. "Father, I saw the words of Tiandao. I want to enter the Tower of Babel." In the small world inside Duan Lingshan's body, his son Duan Yintian returned to the Divine Tree of Life, communicated with him through the Divine Tree of Life, and expressed his desire to enter the trial space of the Tower of Babel. As early as a few years ago, his son Duan Yintian entered the realm of high-ranking gods. At the same time, Duan Lingtian took a look inside, and it was not difficult to find that in the small world inside his body, in the area of the land of divine relics, a group of beings above the gods were regretting why they came to the land of divine relics, or why never leave the sacred place. The land of divine relics will be closed for thousands of years. Therefore, even if they saw the Tiandao text and coveted the trial space leading to the third entrance of the Babel Tower, they had no choice but to wait until the next trial space was open before they could enter. Chapter 46-48. Originally, Duan Lingtian did not intend to pay attention to these people. However, when he finally looked at the land of divine relics, there were actually many people who had conflicts because of this. He didn't want the land of divine relics to be messed up, so he immediately separated the land of divine relics from all the gods in the Nishan realm. Plain connection: those who want to leave the land of divine relics can do so within the next month. In 1 month, the land of divine heritage will be closed for at least 1,000 years. Duan Lingshan's voice, like a loud bell, spread throughout the land of divine heritage, like a supreme creation talking to the many lives he created. As Duan Lingtian spoke, the land of divine relics suddenly boiled. Isn't it just for this moment that many of them started making trouble? They can finally leave and go to the Tower of Babel to seek their chance. Of course, these people are basically high-ranking gods. As for the most powerful people, those who stayed in the land of divine heritage were basically those who had good relations with the most powerful person from the Xia family in the land of divine heritage. They all learned about some potential risks from Duan Lingtian, but there were no planning to leave. Moreover, as the most powerful people, it is easy for them to leave. They can talk to Duan Lingtian directly. Even if it is not convenient for them to talk to Duan Lingtian, they can still find people who are convenient to talk to Duan Lingtian, such as people from the Xia family in the land of gods that is also the natal family of Duan Lingshan's wife. "Father, you let them go. Why did you restrict me from going out?" Duan Yintian also wanted to enter the Tower of Babel. His goal and pursuit was his father, but with his current strength, he felt that his chances of catching up with his father were extremely slim. Now that he had the opportunity to overtake in a corner, he naturally didn't want to make a mistake. Pass the chance. Just be patient. Duan Lingtian was very pleased with his son's ambition to become stronger, but he didn't get used to it today. He beat him first and then reasoned with him. After learning about his father's concerns, Duan Yintian calmed down for a while, but he couldn't help but secretly cursed in his heart. "Can't you just tell me the reason directly? Is it necessary to beat me first?" "Humph. I have never seen my father beat up Xiling. It's too biased." Duan Lingtian didn't know what his son was thinking, and even if he knew, he wouldn't care. In the next period of time, Duan Lingtian paid close attention to the situation in the outside world. He also heard about the news from the Jade Emperor in Nishan Realm. Realm Lord Xiao Mubai wanted to stop people from entering at first, but it backfired. There are too many high-ranking gods. He can't keep them all, can he? He could only stop some powerful people who were ready to make a move. Of course, this is also because he knows very well that even if he stops everyone here, these people will definitely find a way to leave the Nishan realm. Go to the entrance of the Babel Tower outside the Nishan realm, and enter the Babel Tower. The benefits promised by heaven are so attractive. Certainly. During this period of time, people also came out of the Tower of Babel one after another, all of whom had previously entered the second entrance of the Tower of Babel. There are people who go against the realm of gods, and there are also people who live outside the realm. On the side of the Nishan realm, Duan Lingtian contacted the law clone of Huangfu Mengyuan, the senior sister of the inner palace of Wanfa Academy, and told her that the matter was suspicious. After the other party heard about it, he immediately asked me to leave the Babel Tower. Out from inside coming. As for the second senior brother, the third senior brother and the fourth senior sister, they also all had their clones outside and came out one after another. Beyond the boundary, the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty also became agitated with the return of the former 7th city Lord Xue Qingzhu. Although the beings in the outside world have no rules, they still leave things outside. Once someone touches those things, something urgent has happened. They will be aware of it and rush back from the outside as soon as possible. Therefore, the strongest men in the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty also came out of the Tongtian Tower one by one. Even though the newly opened third entrance of Babel Tower is very attractive, they trust Xue Qingzhu even more, because Xue Qingzhu has led the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty to achieve many benefits and glory since his rise, and has never let the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty suffer deficit. They had almost blind trust in Xue Qingzhu. On Bibo Tianfa's side, before Feng Qingyang left with Xue Qingzhu, Duan Lingtian specially said hello to him, and asked him to remind Bibo Tianfu and at the same time asked Bibo Tianfu to inform Qingzhu nearby. Yinxing sect. They are all forces that have some friendship with him. At this critical moment, he decided to give a reminder. Whether they believe it or not is up to them. Next, when the beings above the gods in the 10,000 realms and the land beyond the boundary were all keen to enter the Tower of Babel, the 10,000 realms and the land beyond the realm seemed to be much calmer than before. Because there were so many fewer people, there were naturally fewer people. Less disputes. A peaceful and calm scene. Time flies. 32 years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Duan Lingtian, as usual, stayed in the Nirvana heaven, one of the heavenly planes in the Nishan realm, to meditate, comprehend the way of swordsmanship, and sprint to the 9th level. Although he doesn't know what will happen next, the improvement in strength will undoubtedly bring him more protection, allowing him to protect himself and his family and friends at the same time. This is something he is still practicing hard to this day. The motivation of practicing lies. Boom. Suddenly, an earth-shaking loud noise swept from the end of the horizon, making the earth tremble. A large number of buildings in the Nirvana Emperor's palace collapsed because of this. A vast and majestic force, accompanied by a loud noise from the sky, arrived as promised and swept across all directions. Right here. Found it. You Luaha, you practice the forbidden life sacrifice method, which is not tolerated by all living beings in the divine land. Today, we will lock you in your position, and we will kill you. One after another, voices seemed to come from outside the sky, many of which were harsh and scolding. Along with it, there are also extremely terrifying powers. These forces were not impacting the anti-god realm, but were clearly clashing in the distance. However, the aftermath of their power still caused the space where the Nirvana sky was to be fragmented and crumbling, giving people a feeling that the mirror was about to disappear in the blink of an eye. That is, as soon as Duan Lingtian rose into the air, he saw a familiar giant tower appearing in the distance on the horizon. It was the Babel Tower. Then, the Tower of Babel suddenly exploded, turning into bright white fireworks, and countless shrill and desperate screams came out from inside, which was heart-stopping and shocking. You alone want to kill me? Ridiculous. Another disdainful voice sounded, shaking all directions. The sound was like muffled thunder, and the power that arose immediately collided with several other sudden forces, causing the Nirvana sky to be completely shattered and turned into powder in an instant. and Duan Lingtian also appeared in the turbulent space. The master, his wife, and others who were originally within his sight also disappeared behind the shattered annihilation heaven, as if they were so close to him in the blink of an eye. Not good dash. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian seemed to have noticed something, and his expression suddenly changed. He found that the small world inside his body was strangely turbulent. The originally strong divine tree of life became dim in an instant. Most of the divine water for purifying the world in it evaporated in the blink of an eye. Its breath was sluggish, as if the Buddha's oil is exhausted and the lamp dries up. How is this going? Duan Lingtian was stunned, completely stunned. Before he had time to intervene, even before the divine tree of life and the divine water of purification had time to communicate with him, they destroyed themselves one after another, and their auras disappeared in an instant. The little world inside his body collapsed instantly. The land of divine heritage was also shattered. Chapter 46-49. At the critical moment, Duan Lingtian could no longer care about the group of people in the land of divine relics, and could only care about a few relatives near the newly destroyed divine tree of life. His wives and his parents. Other family members and friends are all in the sacred place. The power of law is destroyed? When Duan Lingtian took action, it was obvious that he could not sense the power of space law, and even the power of other laws was gone. The only means he could use were his own power, and there are 4 realms in the world. Although his strength is much weaker, he still doesn't have much pressure to protect his wife and parents. Si Ling, Nian Tian and the others. While protecting his wife and parents, Duan Lingtian wanted to find his children and other family members and friends, but found that the vast number of creatures in the sacred land disappeared one after another into the fragmented turbulent space, and he wants the person you are looking for is also inside, and cannot be noticed at all. He unfolded his consciousness, and could only feel the breath disappearing into the crumbling turbulent space. Wow. Wow. As if a strange storm swept through, the turbulent space was quickly fragmented. At the same time, Duan Lingtian only felt a pulling force, shrouding him and his wife and parents who were protecting him, constantly shaking in the shattered turbulent space. Drag vibrate. During this period, he could hear the fierce fighting sound quickly disappearing. He just came back to his senses and wanted to resist the pulling force, but found that the pulling force disappeared in the next step. When he came back to his senses, his eyes were clear, but he appeared in a vast expanse of mountains and rivers. Above, the smell permeating the air is completely different from any space I have been to before. It is somewhat like what his master described, the world behind the 9 mysterious entrances to the Nishan realm and many realms. How is this going? Duan Lingtian was a little confused. Are we forcibly sent into the world behind the mysterious entrance? At the same time, in his mind, he was constantly recalling the previous sounds coming from the horizon, as well as the scene of the Babel Tower being shattered, which he would never forget. What happened? This is Duan Lingtian's doubts, and also the doubts of his wife and parents who are still by his side after Duan Lingtian protected him. Brother Tian, what happened? Kir looked at Duan Lingtian, with doubts and confusion in his eyes. He glanced around with astonishment on his face. Just now was I dazzled? I saw the divine tree of life broken. Sister Shui also disappeared. Also, I feel no more power of law. When Duan Lingtian was in the small world inside his body, his wife got along very well with Jingshi Shui, and they were treated like sisters. Huaner, Li Fei and Feng Tianwu all looked at Duan Lingtian at this time. In their eyes, this man was there and their backbone. Because of this, after this man sensed the crisis and incorporated the land of divine relics into the small world within his body, in order to prevent him from worrying too much about them, they all stayed honestly next to the divine tree of life, practicing there. And without their experiences in sacred places. Duan Lingtian's parents, Duan Ruffing and Li Ro, have always lived a life of retirement. They thought it was good to be near the divine tree of life, so they never left. But they didn't expect that it was their decision that caused the small world inside Duan Lingtian's body to be shattered. And after the turbulent space was shattered, they did not disappear from Duan Lingtian's side like the others, but were protected by Duan Lingtian in time. Come down. I don't know what happened yet. Duan Lingtian shook his head, and at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Since they were safe and sound, he expected that the others were also the same. I just don't know where they were sent. Looking back now, that last pulling force was obviously the pulling force of space when the turbulent space was shattered. When that space force was completely shattered, they regained their freedom and were no longer affected. The power of law cannot be sensed. At this time, Huaner frowned slightly and said, "It's not just that I can't sense the power of the law." Duan Lingtian sighed and said, "Not long ago, I was still in the Nirvana Emperor's palace. And suddenly there was a combined force breaking through the sky, and then there were several loud shouts." Duan Lingtian told them the situation at that time. "We saw it too," Li Fei said. "At that time a person shouted something, 'You Luaha, you practice the forbidden life sacrifice method, which is not tolerated by all living beings in the divine land. Today we will lock you in your position and we will kill you. You know that you Luaha Luohi? Can you see it too?" Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment. He had clearly closed the small world inside his body tightly at that time, but he did not expect that the people inside also saw that scene. At that time the Tower of Babel also appeared, and at the same time it shattered, and countless screams were heard. Feng Tianwu continued. After some exchanges with his wives, Duan Lingtian also realized that the destruction of the small world in his body was probably not the only one. The small worlds in other people's bodies were also shattered in all likelihood, because the existence of the small world within the body has a certain connection with the power of space. After those loud shouts came and the Tower of Babel was shattered, the whole world seemed to be in chaos. Everything related to the power of the law was shattered. After the Nirvana heaven was shattered, he wandered in the turbulent space, but the turbulent space was also shattered shortly after. At that time, he discovered that the power of law seemed to have disappeared strangely. Now in this strange world he can't sense any power of laws here. It's not right. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian remembered something again. "I remember Master said that he went into the world behind the mysterious entrance and struck with all his strength. I didn't hear him mention that he couldn't use the power of law in that world. What's going on? Things seem to be different from what we guessed before. Then who is Yuluo? Those people seem to be attacking him because he practiced some forbidden life sacrifice method? It also mentioned all living beings," Duan Lingtian murmured. The sound was not loud, but people around him could hear it clearly. Could it be that this is some kind of sacred land? Duan Ruffing opened his mouth and guessed. At this time Li Ro next to him also had a worried look on her face. Si Ling and Niantian, the children, were all in the land of gods before. And the in-laws Xuanai, Xiaohei, Xiaobai and Xiaojin. They all have a certain amount of strength, so there shouldn't be much danger for the time being. Duan Lingtian also calmed down at this time, knowing that it was useless to be impatient. The top priority was to first understand the world he was in now. Chapter 4650. Until now, Duan Lingtian is still a little confused. Have absolutely no idea what's going on. Everything was so sudden. However, he also knows that since he has come to this world, whether he wants to leave this world and return to the world or a place outside the world, or he cannot go back, he must first understand this world and see where they have come. Square. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian discovered that a familiar aura suddenly emerged from Kir's body, which was the aura of the most powerful. "Kir, are you breaking through?" Duan Lingtian looked at Kir with a surprised look on his face. Kir also had a confused look on his face now, looking inside at the situation inside his body and murmured, "It seems like a breakthrough." However, this situation seems to be different from what Huaner said. Huaner is the first among Duan Lingshan's wives to step into the realm of high-ranking gods and become the most powerful. Just now, I felt the power of the superior in my body boiling, and then the technique started to work on its own, and then I broke through. There was no guidance from the most powerful state, so it was a normal breakthrough. Speaking of this, Kir thought of something and said, "By the way, some of my insights on the way of the sword flashed through my mind just now. Could it be related to kendo? Kier is the second among Duan Lingshan's wives to fully master the 4 realms of heaven and earth. Completely mastered the way of swordsmanship and reached the 1st level. Wow. But at this moment, another aura rose up, but it was Huaner not far away. An aura suddenly rose up on his body, and his whole temperament also changed a lot compared to before. Huaner, you also made a breakthrough? Duan Lingtian was stunned. Compared to Kier, Huaner's feelings were more profound. After all, she turned out to be the most powerful person. Brother Tian, I feel like I have been exposed to this world for a long time. The swordsmanship that I just broke through to the 3rd level seems to be alive. Not in my mind interruption drill. After being accommodated again, the power in my body has also transformed from the 2nd level of the strongest to the 3rd level. After listening to Huaner's words, Duan Lingtian glanced at Li Fei and Feng Tianwuer to confirm that there was nothing strange about them. Finally, he looked at his parents. They also had no feeling. This world had not brought them cultivation. For the improvement. It seems that it is indeed related to the way of swordsmanship. Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed and he said, in this world, the power of laws does not exist. You cannot sense the power of laws here, let alone use it. When you get here, except for some things that you have mastered in the past, practical skills to an addition, only the 4 realms of heaven and earth can be used. Of course, the power within the body has not disappeared and is still available. Next, let's find a place nearby to stay, or see if we can meet anyone, and get to know the world first. After hearing Duan Lingshan's words, several people nodded in agreement. Next, Duan Lingtian and his family traveled in the air. After several days of traveling, they finally saw a few figures. These figures were in a hurry, obviously on their way. A few. Duan Lingtian just stepped forward to block their way and wanted to ask, but saw that the other party's expressions changed. However, after realizing that Duan Lingtian had no ill intentions, they all avoided him and continued moving forward. Before Duan Lingtian came back to his senses, he saw another group of people coming from the distance, seemingly chasing something. But he was chasing after a few people who just passed by. Duan Lingtian frowned, but he didn't intend to catch up. There was obviously a grudge between the 2 groups. Before he understood the world, he didn't plan to get involved to avoid catastrophic disaster. However, the strength of these 2 groups is only average. The strongest one is comparable to the mid-level god. Of course, what we are talking about here is the power they control, which is comparable to the power of a mid-level god. Because the power of law does not exist in this world, and these people obviously do not master the 4 ways of heaven and earth, so their strength is definitely inferior to that of the intermediate gods from all realms, and even the places outside the realm, and they may not even be able to defeat the lower gods. Respect. Since we can see people here, I think there is a gathering place for humans nearby. Duan Lingtian returned to his family and continued moving forward with them. Really? 3 days later, Duan Lingtian and his party finally saw a city. The city was neither big nor small. It was adjacent to a continuous mountain range. There were many people going in and out, and it was quite lively. Duan Lingtian and his party approached. Except for Huaner, who habitually wore a veil, the other 3 women, as well as Li Ro, attracted a lot of people's attention, but it was just a quick glance, because in this world no shortage beauty. In their world, many women who were originally average-looking can change their appearance through some secret cultivation methods, and look like whatever they want. Only the breath of the soul remains unchanged. Duan Lingtian had also discovered a long time ago that after coming to this world, the soul aura will overflow involuntarily, allowing people to sense it from a distance and confirm the identity of the other person. The language of this place. Soon, Duan Lingtian discovered that the language of this place was the same as the lingua franca of the 10,000 realms, and the land beyond the boundary. If it weren't for the fact that there was no power of law here, and the breath of the soul magically overflowed, he would have thought that he had returned, arrived the world or the place beyond the bounds. After walking around the small town, and confirming that the trading currencies of this world were divine stones and divine crystals, Duan Lingtian felt relieved. He had no shortage of these things. However, he soon discovered his Neji space disappeared. He naturally knew what this meant. It meant that all the things he had stored in the Neji were gone. Normally, this is a situation that occurs after the Neji self-destructs. Helpless, Duan Lingtian sighed secretly, and in the end he could only take the huge divine crystal necklace worn around his wife Li Fei's neck, remove the divine crystal from it, and prepare to exchange it for the divine stone in the small town for daily consumption. The reason why Li Fei wears this divine crystal is because the size of ordinary divine crystals is standard, and it is difficult to condense such a large piece. It is considered a rarity. Duan Lingtian knew that she likes shiny things, so he gave it to her. She made a necklace and wore it with her, so that she did not disappear with the disappearance of the ring space. Now they and their group can be said to be penniless. The weapons also disappeared with the disappearance of the Neji space. Such a big divine crystal? Duan Lingtian found a luxuriously decorated shop called Jinbao Pavilion, a few floors up, went to the shopkeeper, took out the divine crystal, and asked the other party how many divine stones he could exchange for it. Although he has inquired about the ratio of divine crystals to divine stones, that is only the ratio of ordinary divine crystals. His divine crystal is extraordinary. Call out! Call out! Call out! In order not to be deceived by the shopkeeper, Duan Lingtian deliberately displayed the 8th level of swordsmanship. The invisible sword energy surrounded him and disappeared after a moment. But even so, the treasure master of Jinbao Pavilion was still shocked and couldn't help but exclaimed, "A powerful person who has entered the Tao." Chapter 46-51. A powerful person who has entered the Tao. This is the first time Duan Lingtian has heard such a title. It should be the name given to the beings who have mastered the 4 realms of heaven and earth in this world. Next, the attitude of the shopkeeper of Jinbao Pavilion not only became much more humble, but also gave Duan Lingtian a very high exchange ratio. He even asked Duan Lingtian afterwards if there was anything he needed to help him with, as long as he could do whatever he could never refuse. The look he looked at Duan Lingtian was also full of awe, as if the powerful person who entered the Tao was some great big shot in his eyes. I really want to ask the shopkeeper something. Seeing that the store was not busy, Duan Lingtian asked the shopkeeper some questions, and soon learned some things from the shopkeeper. This world is called Divine Land. Where he is now is in the Chuzhou, in the Divine Land. This is a relatively remote city in Chuzhou, called Anqing. There are 2 gangs, that is 1 gang and 2 families. Jinbao Pavilion is one of them, of a family industry. However, when he knew the cultivation realm of these 3 strongest cultivators, he didn't care at all. The strongest one has not yet entered the Tao. This is why the shopkeeper was shocked that he was a Taoist practitioner. I really didn't expect. In this world of gods and earth, the so-called Tao is not just 4 kinds of Tao, and there is no such thing as the Tao of weapons. Any kind of Tao of weapons is an independent Tao. After Duan Lingtian took his family to find an inn to stay, he sat around the yard with his wives and listened to Kir sighing. Now, after understanding this world, Kir is not as worried about the safety of his daughter Xiling and son Niantian. In this world, their strength is considered to be good, second only to Taoist practitioners. Yes. In the past, in our world, there were only 4 ways of heaven and earth, but in this world, there are 10,000 ways. Duan Lingtian nodded. The way of weapons among the 10,000 ways is only a combination of the way of hundreds of weapons. In this world, not only cannot the laws be sensed, but even the people here do not know the existence of the power of the laws. As for the law clone, I don't even know. Duan Lingtian asked the shopkeeper of Jinbao Pavilion if he knew a person named Yu Luaha, but the shopkeeper didn't know. As for the way of living sacrifice, the other party also said that he had never heard of it, and frankly said that he was just a member of the lower class of the gods. Because of his business talent, he was valued by the family behind him. Otherwise, he could only serve tea and do some chores. I plan to visit the 3 major forces in Anqing tomorrow. I think the strongest of those forces should know more. Duan Lingtian said his plan. You just stay at the inn and take care of the safety of your father and mother. The 4 girls nodded in unison. Originally, this world was unfamiliar to them, and they still had a sense of crisis. Now that they have a preliminary understanding of this world, they finally feel a little more relaxed. Only, what Duan Lingtian didn't expect was that before the next day, in the evening, someone came to his door and claimed to be the head of the Yen family in Anqing. "Oh, go out and meet him." He was surrounded by women, and Duan Lingtian had no intention of greeting him in the guest room courtyard and going out to meet him. When he met the head of the Yen family, Duan Lingtian knew why he came to the door, because the person standing behind him was the shopkeeper who entertained him in Jinbao Pavilion today. Although this shopkeeper is from the bottom of the divine land, he still has some strength. Although he has not reached the level of the gods of the 10,000 worlds and outer worlds, he still has the cultivation level of an immortal. It should be because the spiritual energy of the divine land and the heaven and earth is abundant. Reason the aura of heaven and earth in this world is comparable to that of all realms. And the places outside the realm where the aura of heaven and earth are most abundant are no less generous. "Sir, we meet again." The shopkeeper saluted Duan Lingtian respectfully. The middle-aged man standing in front of him also stared at Duan Lingtian with gleaming eyes, respectfully raised his hands and said, "Yen Hu, the head of the Yen family in Anqing, has met your lord. Yen Hu is here to offer a treasure to you, sir." After finishing his words, Yen Hu took out something and handed it to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian reached out and took it. After touching it for a while, he almost lost his temper and smiled, because this thing was a sword-shaped jade pendant, which contained a ray of swordsmanship that ordinary people could not detect, but Qi Peng could easily integrate his consciousness into it. This ray of swordsmanship is only left behind by the first level of swordsmanship. For those who have not yet understood the swordsmanship, it can serve as an introduction to the swordsmanship, or it can be used to understand the swordsmanship. Of course, it is unlikely to completely master the first level of swordsmanship. At best, you can master the rudimentary form of swordsmanship. "This thing is of no use to me." Duan Lingtian casually returned it to Yen Hu. This thing was not only useless to him, but also of no use to his family members who had not yet entered the Tao. Even if he casually showed it to his family members for enlightenment, the swordsmanship is far greater than what is contained in this thing. The swordsmanship is rough and strong. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Yen Hu was stunned for a moment, and then his pupil shrank. Then he asked in a trembling voice, "My lord, are you a monk who has mastered the second-level swordsmanship?" Only monks who have mastered the second level of swordsmanship and above will have no interest in what he sends out. Just take it as such. Duan Lingtian didn't intend to reveal too much, so he smiled lightly and returned the things to Yen Hu. After Yen Hu took back the things with trembling hands, he took a deep breath and looked at Duan Lingtian. "Sir, I don't know. Can you help me and do the Yen family a favor? Afterwards, my Yen family will definitely be richly rewarded." After he finished speaking, Yen Hu actually gave back the divine crystal that Duan Lingtian had sent to the treasure pavilion today to exchange for the divine stone. "The divine stones you exchanged for today, sir, should be regarded as the meeting gift that I, Yen Hu, gave you." Duan Lingtian did not reach out to take back the divine crystal. Instead, he smiled lightly and asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" "If it's just a small favor, it doesn't hurt to help. This man is the head of the Yen family, and he wants to know a lot of things. Do him a favor and get some benefits in terms of divine stones and divine crystals, and you can also ask him some more things he desperately wants to know. Of course, if it's a big favor or something too troublesome, he has no interest in helping the other party. As for what he wants and what he wants to know, he can definitely find someone else. Sir, this is what happened." As Yen Hu spoke, Duan Lingtian also knew the whole story. It turned out that it was all caused by the sword-shaped jade pendant in Yen Hu's hand. The other two forces in Anqing knew about it, and they all want to get a piece of the pie. Otherwise we need to join forces to deal with the Yen family's posture. Originally, Yen Hu planned to give the things to Duan Lingtian, and then asked Duan Lingtian to issue a statement to make the two families retreat. Otherwise, even if Yen Hu said that he gave away or lost the things, the two families would not believe him and would still cause trouble. Now Duan Lingtian is not interested in the sword-shaped jade pendant. He still wants Duan Lingtian to tell the outside world that the thing is in his hands and scare away the other two forces in Anqing. That's it. Duan Lingtian smiled calmly. If this is the case, you can let the news out. In addition, if those two families want to collide with me, they can have their strongest people come together. I'm waiting for you. To him, this is really just a small thing among small things, not worth mentioning at all. Therefore, he casually took the divine crystal that Yanhu handed over, and was still hanging in the air, preparing to return it to his wife Li Fei and continue to use it as a necklace pendant for her. Chapter 46-52. After seeing Yanhu off, Duan Lingtian turned back to the guest room courtyard and returned the divine crystal to Li Fei. Brother Tian, this is. Li Fei was a little surprised at the lost and recovered divine crystal. Duan Lingtian smiled and told the story, and then she suddenly realized that Ganqing was the family behind the Jinbao Pavilion, and they wanted her men to take advantage of them, to show off their power. The other side. After Yanhu returned, he spread the news and also told which inn and which guest room and courtyard Duan Lingtian stayed in. The other family and gang in Anqing quickly received the news. That Kendo jade pendant was given away by Yanhu? And was it given to a strong Taoist? Is it true? You even told the other party's location? Is this intended for us to confirm? It was related to the jade pendant of Kendo, which was the key to entering the Tao. The head of the family and the gang leader of the two families soon went to the inn to visit the strong man who had entered the Tao, which was Duan Lingtian. After confirming that Duan Lingtian was a powerful Taoist, they retreated even though they felt unwilling to do so. Are we too radical? If we were more tactful, we wouldn't have forced the Yen family to take this step. After the two of them left the inn, they couldn't help but smile and shake their heads. They never expected that the Yen family would take such a step in order to prevent them from sharing the Kendo jade pendant. It was simply harming others and not benefiting themselves. On Duan Lingtian's side, after dealing with the two of them, the news soon became known to Yanhu. Yanhu also hurriedly took several elders from his family to visit Duan Lingtian. One is to express gratitude, and the other is to clarify Duan Lingtian's doubts. Before he left last time, Duan Lingtian told him that he hoped he could bring a few knowledgeable people from his family to help him solve some of his confusion, so the few old people he brought this time may not be the strongest, but he is definitely the most knowledgeable. One of them even left Anqing and Chuzhou, and narrowly escaped death before returning. After all, there are still certain risks when walking outside without being a strong person. Grown-ups. Yanhu brought people to see Duan Lingtian. After thanking him, he briefly introduced the elderly people he brought, and then asked Duan Lingtian to ask questions. Before that, I was also given a ring. It is indeed Neji, and its name is the same as the name of the place where Duan Lingtian was previously in the world, but the space in this Neji is different from the space in the world and the world outside the world. The latter relies more on the laws of space, and this is satisfied the key lies in the material. However, deep in the material, there is also a faint power of space. This is also the first time Duan Lingtian has felt the power of space in this world. Certainly, the ring here has no self-destruction function. Although it recognizes the owner, if the person dies, others can get the contents of the ring if they get it. This is similar to the secular Neji of the world, except that the material of this Neji is more advanced. After asking Yanhu and learning that the value of the Neji was not high, Duan Lingtian asked him to arrange a few and prepare one for each of his family members. When they came to this world, all the space inside their Neji disappeared. Neji is useless. Yanhu was actually quite puzzled at first as Duan Lingtian, and his group didn't even receive a precept, and even lacked a divine stone. It stands to reason that a strong person cannot lack these things. It wasn't until Duan Lingtian told his origin that Yanhu suddenly realized it. The reason why he told his story without any reservation was because Duan Lingtian felt that he could control the people in front of him, and he would leave the place soon afterwards without worrying about any danger against them. Moreover, even if you tell your origin, there may not be any danger. If you have this intention, you are just being cautious. Sir, if my guess is correct, you should come from the world created by the creation life chart, And the way of life sacrifice you mentioned, judging from the legends I heard outside, it doesn't sound right. Match. The old man who walked out of Chuzhou in Yanhu's mouth, after pondering for a moment, spoke loudly and told some legends he had heard outside in the past. Creation chart? A created world. Hearing the old man's words, Duan Lingshan's originally confused and dim mind seemed to be instantly illuminated by a light from the sky. After taking a deep breath, he asked, "Senior, please elaborate." "Sir, you are a powerful person in Taoism. I don't dare to call you senior." The old man was a little frightened, but he didn't dare to neglect, and told Duan Lingtian one by one the legends he heard back then. In the past of the world of gods and earth, it is said that someone once used the creation chart to create a brand new world, and even captured people to enter it, allowing them to reproduce in it. In fact, the person who controls the creation chart can control everything in that new world, including time. It is said that in the world created with the creation life chart, the owner of the creation life chart can set many rules, and among them are the laws of elements, which are also the fundamental support for the operation of the creation life chart. When Duan Lingtian heard about the law of elements, his heart was shaken. Isn't that the various laws he has mastered before? Whether it is space, time, or life, the 5 elements are all one type of elements in the world. The strong person who refined the creation life chart, after opening up a new world in it, is said to have shared this with her husband. Later, she was killed by her husband, who used the creation life chart, follow the path of life sacrifice, and will the creatures in the creation chart world serve as tools for him to become stronger. He destroys the world inside at every turn, fattens and kills the creatures inside. Later, when word spread about the incident, he was besieged and ganged up to kill. The person who killed him is lucky. Fortunately, he hasn't gone any further. Otherwise, it would be harder to kill him than to reach the sky. After that, the creation life chart became known to many people, and was regarded as a taboo by the 5 strong men who joined forces to kill the master of the creation life chart. They divided one into 5 and each kept a part of it. The way of life sacrifice practiced by the Lord of the creation and life chart is also listed as a taboo way. Those who practice this way will be punished by the people of the divine land. As the old man continued to speak, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel waves of turmoil in his heart. He never expected that the truth would be like this. The world he was originally in, and even the places outside the world, were actually just the new world opened up by a creation chart in the world of gods and earth. Although what the old man said was just a legend, Duan Lingtian has basically confirmed that this is what actually happened. If he guessed correctly. Later, a strong man named Luaha would either collect the creation life chart again, or he would refine a second creation life chart himself, and open up thousands of new creation lives. Boundary, a place outside the boundary, where they are kept like pigs creatures for your own cultivation. Because, according to what the strong man who entered their world said, what Luaha practiced was the way of life sacrifice. Before the separation of history, the reason why the world was suddenly destroyed was because then Yuluo swallowed up all the creatures in the new world created in the creation chart at that time, and used them for cultivation. The Yuluo River is actually the way of heaven in the eyes of all the worlds and creatures outside the world. But if the Yuluo River can initiate the destruction of the world and devour all living things as it did before the historical separation, why can't it do the same in our era? At last, it seems like they only killed the creatures in the Tower of Babel. Duan Lingtian still feels horrified when he thinks of the scene of the Tower of Babel collapsing, and the shrill screams he saw before the Nirvana heaven was destroyed. Why does he, in our era, want to restrict the birth of the most powerful seventh-order existence? Why were there not those 9 mysterious entrances to the world of gods and earth before the separation of history? Now Duan Lingtian can basically confirm that whether it is the counter-god world or the 9 mysterious entrances in other realms of the world behind them, 9 times out of 10, it is the divine earth world where he is now. Chapter 46-53. However, Duan Lingtian also had a lot of confusion in his heart. For example, Before the separation of history, in the era when Old Man Wukong existed, why was there no mysterious entrance to the world of gods and earth? And why was the way of heaven in that era capable of destroying the world? However, in his era after the separation of history, the way of heaven was not destroyed. World. What is the purpose of restricting the birth of the most powerful seventh-level existence? In the later period, after he and his master broke through one after another, why did they not only no longer have restrictions, but also hope to have more powerful seventh-level beings? Why did the 9 mysterious entrances disappear one after another? As for the appearance of the third entrance to the Tower of Babel after the 9 mysterious entrances disappeared, he now guessed the reason. It was that Yueyuo wanted to pass through the Tower of Babel and kill the creatures who entered, and 9 out of 10 of them used him. Let's practice and improve our strength. Before the heaven of Nirvana collapsed and the turbulent space collapsed, he witnessed the destruction of the Tower of Babel with his own eyes, and countless shrill and horrifying screams. Master Yin, thank you. After digging out some things that the old man of the Yin family knew, Duan Lingtian thanked Yin Hu. But Yin Hu smiled and shook his head. Sir, you don't need to thank me. What I helped you is far less than what you helped me. What he said was true. As the other party helped him protect the sword-shaped jade pendant that contained the knowledge of the sword, the Yin family might be able to use the sword-shaped jade pendant to give birth to a strong man who has entered the Tao. By then, their Yin family will really be the only one in city. This is a great thing for the descendants of Fuyin. After being sent to the Yin family, Duan Lingtian returned to the courtyard of the guest room and told his wives what he had learned. The women were also shocked and amazed. I really didn't expect that there is such a magical thing as the creation chart in the world. It can actually create a new world. So, the worlds we were in before, and even the places outside the world, are the worlds in the creation chart? And our earliest ancestors were also the masters of the creation chart, sent in from the world of gods and earth. No wonder I can't sense the power of any laws here. It turns out that the laws of elements can only exist in the creation world. The next day, Duan Lingtian told his parents about the incident, which made them equally horrified. No one expected that the world they lived in the past, whether it was the plane of gods, the plane of heavens, or the secular plane, were all superpowers in the world of gods and earth. Through that shocking creation horoscope, a new world opened up. Father, mother, I plan to take you to the capital of Chuzhou next. Duan Lingtian said. Zhouqing is the most prosperous place in Chuzhou. If Niantian and Xiling are also involved in Chuzhou after being expelled from the small world in my body, they may go there. I decided to stay there for a while and see if I could meet them there. He had it all figured out. When you arrive in Chuzhou City, you should first find a place to stay. It is best to go out with a little reputation. In this way, once his family members and friends who are separated from him hear news about him in Chuzhou, they will definitely come to Zhouqing to look for him. If he is famous enough, even if he is not in Chuzhou, he may still hear his name. As Duan Lingtian expressed these thoughts, Duan Ruffing, Li Ro and his wife's eyes lit up. This method is feasible. Yes. In this way, I might be able to find my good grandson and granddaughter soon. Li Ro is really worried about her grandson and granddaughter, so she hasn't had a good rest recently. After staying in Anqing for another day, Duan Lingtian took a map and left Anqing with his family for the capital city of Chuzhou. In order to speed up, he personally led everyone on the way. However, even so, it still took nearly 10 days to reach the city, which shows how big Chuzhou is. Of course, this is also because every night Duan Lingtian would find a nearby city to stay and only travel during the day. If we had to travel day and night, it would only take a few days at most. This is also because the law of elements does not exist in the world of gods and earth. Otherwise, with the speed that Duan Lingtian can show in the world and outside the world, he can take his family from Anqing to Zhouqing in a day or two at most. Zhouqing is the core city of Chuzhou, so its vast area, majestic city walls, wide streets inside, and the number of passers-by are all beyond the capabilities of the small Anqing. But even so, Duan Lingtian and others were not very surprised. Just because in the past, when they were in Wanjie and beyond, they had seen cities that were bigger, more magnificent, and more lively than Chuzhou City. Find an inn to stay first and then ask for news. Duan Lingtian spoke, and then took his family to one of the best inns in the city and checked in. Then, Duan Lingtian walked out of the inn alone to inquire about the news. The information he wanted to inquire about was how many of the strongest forces there were in this city, and what level the strongest practitioners among these forces were. When he was still in Anqing, he knew the divisions of cultivation realms in this world of gods and earth. For example, he now belongs to the 8th level of the Tao. Entering the 8th level of the Tao, only by comprehending one of the 10,000 ways to the 8th level can you successfully enter. The strong men at this level in the world of gods and earth are definitely not as good as the strongest 8th level strongmen in the past 10,000 realms, and the land beyond the boundary. Even against the strongest 7th level beings, they are probably at most slightly better. Just because the existence of 10,000 realms, and the land outside the boundary, can use the laws of elements. The person who is recognized as the most powerful person in Chuzhou is also a person who has entered the 6th level of Taoism. After learning the news, Duan Lingtian knew that his plan was complete. As long as he defeats the most powerful man in Chuzhou, then he will be the most powerful man in Chuzhou. By then his name will also be famous everywhere. As long as his family and friends are living in Chuzhou area, they will definitely everybody can hear about him the presence. By then he will be able to reunite with his family and friends. I want to see the methods of the cultivators in this world of gods and earth. After confirming the sect where the most powerful man in Chuzhou was and the location of that sect, Duan Lingtian returned to the inn and said hello to his family. Then he left the state city and went to the sect called Shuiyun sect. Shuiyun sect is located 100 miles east of Chuzhou City. Its headquarters is hidden in the mountains, like a paradise. Of course, in Duan Lingtian's view, the Shuiyun sect's station was very shabby compared to the top sects he had come into contact with in the 10,000 realms and beyond the boundaries. Therefore, after he came here, he didn't even pay much attention to it. Interested? No. Standing directly outside the Shuiyun sect's mountain gate, with his hands behind his back, he stood in the air and spoke loudly. Rural casual cultivator Duan Lingtian is here to visit Shuiyun sect. He wants to challenge Shuiyun sect's Tingyun Jusher to compete for the title of the most powerful person in Chuzhou. The sound of his opening was like thunder, spreading throughout the Shuiyun sect. Especially the Shuiyun sect disciples in front of the Shuiyun sect's mountain gate were immediately frightened. It's not like they have never seen the elder who came to challenge their Shuiyun sect, but they have never seen him so arrogant and direct. Come directly to the mountain gate and start the challenge. Shouldn't we pay a false visit first, and then mention the challenge in a tactful way? Chapter 46-54. Duan Lingtian naturally knew that it was not polite for him to do this. However, he was too lazy to put in more effort. Moreover, in line with the principle of the strong are respected, if he, an 8th level cultivator, can challenge a 6th level cultivator, he will give the other party face and the greatest respect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Within Shuiyun sect, figures soon flew out one after another, staring at Duan Lingtian with eager eyes, all of them with hostile faces. Seeing this, Duan Lingtian was not surprised. If he were in the other party's position, his mood and reaction would definitely be similar. Too normal. Your name is Duan Lingtian? Are you worthy of competing with my great-uncle as the strongest person in Chuzhou? A strong, bald man wearing standard clothing walked out and stared at Duan Lingtian angrily, his eyes as cold as daggers, extremely sharp. Seeing the somewhat familiar figure of the other party, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but think of a person in his mind. An old friend. I don't know. That Lei Hong, after the third entrance to the Babel Tower was opened, whether he would enter the Babel Tower to get a chance to improve his strength. If he had gone in, he would definitely be dead by now. If I hadn't gone in, he should also have wandered into this world of gods and earth. The person in front of him reminded Duan Lingtian of Lei Hong. Except for his facial features, his height and figure were the same. What? You think I'm not worthy? Duan Lingtian looked at the other party and smiled lightly. In that case, would you like to help your great-uncle try my method? I think so too. The bald man smiled coldly, then raised his hand, and the concussive power roared out, turning into a long whip, swinging in the void like a python, which was extremely weird. Snapped. There was a loud noise, but the bald man shook his long whip, followed the whip, and killed Duan Lingtian. Whoosh. In an instant, the long whip in the bald man's hand suddenly collapsed and turned into a sharp sword. The tip of the sword pointed directly at Duan Lingshan's eyebrows and penetrated towards Duan Lingtian. His eyes were also filled with cold murderous intent. Still want to kill me? Duan Lingtian found it a bit funny. This person was overestimating his abilities, wasn't he? After all, he also came to challenge the existence of the 6th level of Shuiyun sect. The strength this person is showing now is only the 4th level at most. Do you want to kill him on this basis? Now he could also see that when the other party entered the 4th level of Taoism, he also mastered the 4th level of Whip Tao. His movements were like flowing clouds and flowing water. And his whip was like an arm. Since you want to kill me, I will give you a ride. Facing the menacing bald man, Duan Lingshan's expression remained unchanged, and he didn't even intend to evade it. He just raised his hand casually, and a sword beam was shot out by him, and it roared out of his body. Call out. The sword light shot through the sky, like a short-lived meteor in the sky, which even made the bald man and the people of the Shuiyun sect who came out with him unable to react. Poof. There was a soft sound, but the sword light penetrated the bald man's eyebrows and killed him from the air. Instant kill. Until this moment, the bald man was still far away from Duan Lingtian. As a result, his body paused in the void and then fell rapidly. Duan Lingtian unceremoniously put away the opponent's Neji. There is no self-destructive Nejia in this world of gods and earth. As long as you kill the owner of the Nejia and get the Nejia, you can get everything inside. And this scene also caused the scene to fall into a brief silence. This deputy sect leader Sure is dead? Oh my god. Deputy sect leader Sure is a powerful person on the 4th level. This man killed Deputy Sect Master Sure in one face-to-face? What kind of strength is this? In front of the mountain gate, several Shuiyun sect disciples were stunned by the scene in front of them. Is this person too strong? No wonder he dared to come directly to challenge their Shuiyun sect's strongest ancestor Tingyun. Master, our sect is in great danger. Please come out to meet the enemy. Master, junior brother Shermeng was killed by someone who challenged you. When the people from the Shuiyun sect who came with the bald man came to their senses, they shouted loudly, and their voices spread deep into the Shuiyun sect's residence, quickly causing a sensation. First of all, the people from Shuiyun sect were in an uproar and were horrified. This person is so powerful? He really wants the ancestor to take action himself? I have never heard of this Duan Lingtian before. Where did this strong man come from? We won't be in any danger, right? While all the people of Shuiyun sect were shocked, some elders and disciples of Shuiyun sect who were more flexible were preparing for a retreat. They retreated to the edge of the sect's base. They could leave the sect at any time and escape into the mountains and forests, where the sky is high. Fly. Snort dash. A cold snort came from the depths of Shuiyun sect's residence, and then an elderly figure, Feng Suyufeng, came over. It was an old man with white hair wearing Taoist robes. The old man has thick eyebrows and big eyes, and a resolute face. Regardless of the color of his hair, he only looks at his appearance. He looks like he has just entered middle age at best. Your Excellency, you come to me to challenge me, but you kill my Shuiyun sect disciples. Isn't it a bit too much? The old man stared at Duan Lingtian, and asked in a deep voice with a bad tone. Duan Lingshan's expression remained unchanged, and he looked at him calmly. You, Master Tingyun, are no longer a child. If someone wants to kill you, and you have the ability to kill him, will you still spare his life? If he doesn't want to kill me, I have no interest in killing him. To me, he is nothing more than an ant. Although Duan Lingtian said this arrogantly, it was actually true. Shermeng, who had just been killed by him, had mastered the 4th level of Whip Path. When he took action, there were no other 10,000 ways to show, and he obviously did not master the 2nd level. In his eyes, such an existence was really just a slap in the face. You can take pictures that will dead ants. And although he, after leaving the 10,000 realms and the land outside the boundary, could no longer rely on the laws of elements and lost the clone of the laws, in addition to the 8th level swordsmanship, he also realized the way of control, and the way of infinity to the 7th level of situation. In terms of strength, even if he is today, he is only stronger than the 8th level strong man, who only masters one Tao and understands it to the 8th level, and can use the elemental laws of the great perfection. Arrogant. Hearing this, Master Tingyun became furious. In an instant his robes trembled, and his violent strength roared. He actually used his body as a base to condense a sky-reaching sword light, and slashed down towards Duan Lingtian with his 6th level swordsmanship. This sword shines straight into the sky, like a sword in the sky. It shines brightly, as if it can eclipse the sky and the earth. It falls with a crash, the sound of wind and thunder, and the momentum is like a rainbow. Buzz. The sword slashed down and the void shook, but there was no trace of space tearing. Duan Lingtian had to sigh in his heart again that the stability of the space in this world of gods and earth was far beyond his imagination. Even the sword he used to kill Shermeng just now, not to mention tearing apart the space, did not even cause any ripples in the space. Chapter 46-55. Flashy. Faced with Master Tingyun's menacing blow, Duan Lingtian spoke calmly, and then pointed out, the condensed sword light roared, like tiny stars trying to compete with the sun and the moon in front of Master Tingyun's sword of the sky. However, when this tiny sword light, like a tiny star, touched Master Tingyun's giant sword in the sky, it instantly burst out with infinite power, defeating it in the blink of an eye, and then seemed to consume nothing, and the trend continued. Let's assassinate Layman Xiang Tingyun. Enter the 7th level? Master Tingyun let out a horrified exclamation, and the anger in his eyes completely disappeared at this moment, replaced by shock and despair. I surrender. Senior, show mercy. At the moment of life and death, he felt the strong aura of death contained in the blow in front of him. While retreating quickly, Master Tingyun hurriedly spoke, and at the same time he used all his means, and the sword light was crisscrossed, forming a line in front of him. Layers of protection, but still defeated like a torrent. In the face of the opponent's sword, all his methods seemed weak, and everything he did was in vain. Too strong. Not on the same level at all. There is a big dividing line between the 7th level swordsmanship and the 6th level swordsmanship. He has been studying for many years without making a breakthrough, but he did not expect that the person who challenged him today would master the swordsmanship he dreamed of. Snort dash. Duan Lingtian snorted coldly, and controlled the sword light to pass by Master Tingyun's forehead, shoveling off a section of his long gray hair, and then whizzed away and disappeared from the end of the field of vision. Thank you, Senior, for showing mercy. Although Master Tingyun's image has plummeted, and his hair is as disheveled as a tramp, when facing Duan Lingtian, he is terrified, fearing that he will offend him again. Now he regretted it to death. You shouldn't be so strong. However, he has been strong for a long time. After all, he is recognized as the #1 person in Chuzhou. Although there are 2 other people who have entered the 6th level of Dao in Chuzhou, they are not his opponents. Who would have thought that the person who came to the door today was a being who had entered the 7th level of Taoism? Moreover, it feels stronger than the ordinary 7th level Dao. Senior, I have offended you so much just now. Please forgive me. Senior, forgive me. The rest of the Shuiyan sect present saw that their ancestors were no match for the other party. Their expressions changed drastically. After they came to their senses, they also hurriedly bowed and apologized to Duan Lingtian. Did I win today's battle? Duan Lingtian looked at Master Tingyun and asked lightly. Certainly. Master Tingyun did not dare to hesitate at all and nodded hurriedly. Senior's strength is far beyond what I, Tingyun, can match. From today on, the most powerful person in Chuzhou is you, Senior. Duan Lingtian nodded with satisfaction, and then said, I come to challenge you this time because I want to make a name for myself in Chuzhou. You remember. Duan Lingtian is my name. In the past, my friends and opponents all called me the reverse divine sword. From now on, I, the inverse divine sword Duan Lingtian, will be the strongest man in Chuzhou. You Shuiyun sect can spread the word. If anyone is dissatisfied, you can come to the Chengfeng Inn in Chuzhou City to find me and fight. The following words, Duan Lingshan's high-pitched voice, clearly spread throughout the Shuiyun sect. After the words fell, before everyone in the Shuiyun sect could speak, Duan Lingtian turned around and walked away, disappearing in front of the layman Tingyun and others in the blink of an eye. At this time, everyone came back to their senses one after another. The anti-god sword Duan Lingtian? After Master Tung Yin came to his senses, he murmured for a while that he had never heard of this person before. He thought he was really a loose cultivator, who had just come out of seclusion for many years, and he would become famous throughout Chuzhou as soon as he came out of seclusion. Uncle. At this time, a senior member of the Shuiyun sect who seemed to have a bit of flattery on his face approached layman Tingyun and suggested in a respectful tone. Just now, this Lord Duan Lingtian said that he lives at the Chengfeng Inn in Zhouqing. I guess I just left the customs and haven't yet a place of your own. Our Shuiyun sect has a lot of real estate in the city. Why don't you give him a set in person, which can be considered a good relationship? After all, if his reputation really spreads, even if we want to give him real estate, he probably won't want it. By then, the families in Zhouqing will have already arranged real estate for him. As for layman Tingyun, after hearing what the other party said, his eyes suddenly lit up. Not bad. Your suggestion is good. And you, it seems that I underestimated you in the past, my uncle. You are very good. Layman Tingyun stepped forward and patted the person who gave him advice on the shoulder, smiling with satisfaction. Then he looked at another middle-aged man with a majestic face next to him and said, Sect Master, prepare the best property of the sect in Zhouqing, and then follow me to Chengfeng Inn in Zhouqing to give it to Duan Lingtian. Grown-ups. After he finished speaking, he looked at the person who gave the advice, and you can go too. Yes, master. Yes, uncle. The two heads of the Shuiyun sect responded respectfully, especially the middle-aged man with a goatee, who seemed to be born with a lingering goat's beard on his face. A senior brother glanced at his envy, jealousy, and hatred. Soon, the head of the Shuiyun sect quickly selected the property and accompanied the layman Tingyun to the Chengfeng Inn in Zhouqing. What? Someone wants to challenge me so soon? Duan Lingtian did not expect that just 2 days after returning from Shuiyun sect, layman Tingyun from Shuiyun sect came to his door, accompanied by 2 other people from Shuiyun sect. I just thought someone wanted to challenge me. Sir, we are here to give you real estate. Layman Tingyun said with a smile. I heard that you were staying at the inn in the past 2 days, and then I thought that you must have just appeared in Chuzhou, so I asked me the master of Shuiyun sect has prepared a property belonging to our Shuiyun sect in Zhouqing for you as a gift. My lord, you live. Sect master, please introduce me. After the words fell, the Shuiyun sect leader behind him took a step forward and bowed respectfully. Wu Danqing, the Shuiyun sect leader, has met Lord Duan Lingtian. Lord Duan Lingtian, the property that our Shuiyun sect intends to give to you is located in. Wu Danqing introduced patiently. Shuiyun sect came to present the property with obvious good intentions, and it was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to guess their thoughts. However, he was new here and really needed a permanent property. The most important thing is that he is not alone. He has family around him. Having a fixed property will make it easier for him to settle down in this Chuzhou city. After all, he has planned to stay here for a while to see if there are any family members or friends living in Chuzhou. When they hear his name, they will naturally come to him. You might think that the name Duan Lingtian is the same name. However, with the name anti-god sword being the first 2 words in the anti-god realm, they wouldn't think it was just a person with the same name. They could definitely be him. Chapter 46-56. The property given by Shuiyun Zong is a vast mansion. Looking at the entire Chuzhou city, it is also a first-class mansion. Under the arrangement of the Shuiyun sect leader, Duan Lingtian and his family moved in smoothly. Even because he had no intention of keeping a low profile, Duan Lingtian let the Shuiyun sect arrange it. So everyone in Chuzhou City knew that the Shuiyun sect gave this mansion to the man who had just defeated the Tingyun layman not long ago. Strong casual cultivator, the reverse divine sword Duan Lingtian. For a time, the name of the inverse divine sword Duan Lingtian swept through the entire Chuzhou, like a hurricane with the city as the center. We in Chuzhou also have super strong men who have reached the 7th level or above. I heard that Duan Lingtian, the anti-god sword, defeated our former strongest man in Chuzhou, the layman Tingyun of Shuiyun sect, in just one encounter. The 7th level and the 6th level are the watershed. Such a gap is normal. Before that, on the day of the housewarming when Duan Lingtian moved his family, all the big forces in Chuzhou basically sent people over, either the sect leaders, family patriarchs, gang leaders came in person, or the top leaders of the major forces. The strong man comes in person. What Duan Lingtian didn't expect was that the old guy from Shuiyun sect, also known as Jusher Tingyun, stayed shamelessly, saying that he could help Duan Lingtian with some trivial things, but in fact he just wanted to from Duan Lingshan's side. He further improved his swordsmanship. Duan Lingtian didn't drive him away, because there were indeed benefits to keeping him. He could only occasionally point out problems in the opponent's swordsmanship, but he could get the opponent to help him conscientiously, and there was also a top sect in Chuzhou behind him for him to control, which was of no harm to him. But when the layman Tingyun stayed, he suddenly became the housekeeper of the Duan mansion. After the news spread, it triggered a series of shocks. The anti-god sword Duan Lingtian not only defeated the former strongest man in Chuzhou, but also made him willing to stay by his side as a housekeeper and handle trivial matters for him. For a time, many people across Chuzhou were discussing this matter. It's simply outrageous. The dignified Shuiyun sect ancestor, a strong man who has entered the 6th level of Taoism, is willing to be a butler. In my opinion, your vision is too low and your structure is too small. That Shuiyun sect ancestor, he was also the #1 person in Chuzhou in the past. How could he be a brainless person? Now he is willing to condescend to follow Master Duan Lingtian, which shows that he is doing this will get him the benefits he wants. I think that's the case too. Old monsters like Master Tingyun are those who don't see rabbits and don't let go of hawks. Will they do things that cause losses? Anyway, I don't believe it. As far as I know, Master Tingyun is entering the Tao with a sword, and the name of Master Duan Lingtian is the anti-sword of God, which means that he also enters the Tao with a sword. As a strong person who has entered the 7th level of the Tao, his swordsmanship must be above the 7th level. According to me, look, Master Tingyun is pretending to be a butler, but he wants Master Duan Lingtian to help him improve his swordsmanship. You still see clearly. At the same time, in a small town called Qianqing in Chuzhou, a young, beautiful woman with an refined temperament was walking out of a restaurant with a girl wearing a light golden dress and looking like jade. After people leave the city, then we headed towards Chuzhou City. Sister Xuanai, the anti-god sword Duan Lingtian they are talking about must be Brother Lingtian, the girl said to the young woman with a very firm tone. It's obvious. The young woman smiled and said, if it's just a name, it could be the same name. With the name Inverse Divine Sword, who else could it be if he wasn't my brother? Brother is not someone who likes to be in the limelight. He is so famous in Chuzhou. I think he came here just to look for us. He wants us to go to Chuzhou City to find him as soon as we know his traces. This young woman is none other than Han Xuanai. As for the girl beside her, it is Xiao Jin. In the past, when they were still part of the Divine Heritage Land, in the small world inside Duan Lingtian, they initially practiced with Duan Siling, Duan Yintian, Xiao He and Xiao Bai, but later they were divided into 3 teams, each an experience everywhere. She was with Xiao Jin, Duan Siling and Xiao Bai together, Duan Yintian and Xiao He together. But they didn't expect that such a big change would suddenly happen. The land of divine heritage was destroyed and the turbulent space collapsed. Then the 2 of them also wandered into Chuzhou in this divine land world. It took them a while to find the people, and came to in a small city called Qianqing. They had been here for a few days and had no intention of leaving rashly. But today they heard rumors about the anti-sword sword Duan Lingtian. They knew that it was their brother Duan Lingtian, so they decided to leave immediately. City, and went to Chuzhou City to reunite with his brother. Although they have not yet entered the Tao, their strength is not bad. When they were still in the land of divine relics, they received the most powerful godhead from Duan Lingtian to assist in their cultivation. In addition, there was no shortage of various training resources, and they successively stepped into the realm of the gods. Respect the realm. Along the way, although I encountered bandits, I dealt with them easily. Finally, we arrived at Chuzhou City successfully. After a little inquiring, they found out where the Duan mansion was. It was also at this time that they realized that although their brother Duan Lingtian had become famous in Chuzhou for a short time, his intimidating power in the city, and even the entire Chuzhou, was far greater than that of the former strongest man in Chuzhou, Tingyun Jusher. Even when they came outside Duan Mansion, they could still see some people queuing up to give gifts. The purpose of these people is to join their brother Lingtian, follow their brother Lingtian to understand the way of swordsmanship, and enter the way with the sword. 2 girls, you are also here to become a disciple? Naturally, it is impossible for layman Tingyun to be stationed at the door of Duan Mansion. The people guarding here are the more clever elders of Shuiyun sect arranged by layman Tingyun at the request of the Shuiyun sect lideras for ordinary Shuiyun sect disciples. He felt that they were not worthy guard the door for the respected Lord Duan Lingtian. Hello, senior. Please inform Mr. Duan Lingtian that our old friends Han Xuanai and Xiao Jin are visiting. Han Xuanai said politely to the old gatekeeper who asked him. She did not directly explain the relationship between her and Duan Lingtian, fearing that the other party would mistakenly think that she was looking for an excuse to have with him, so she just visited her normally. As long as her brother Lingtian heard the report, he would naturally come to pick her up. Let's go in. Old friend. After hearing this, the Shuiyun sect elder did not dare to neglect and reported it immediately. Of course, he was not qualified to go to Duan Lingtian directly. He was looking for layman Tingyun. Uncle, 2 girls came outside, saying they are the old friends of Lord Duan Lingtian. After Master Tingyun received the notification, he immediately went to find Duan Lingtian. After Duan Lingtian heard the names of Xuanai and Xiaojin from the mouth of Master Tingyun, his eyes suddenly lit up. He knew that his plan was beginning to show results. Xuanai and Xiaojin must have happened to be living in Chuzhou, otherwise maybe he came to your door so quickly. It's Xuanai and Xiaojin. Duan Lingshan's wife Li Fei also heard the announcement from layman Tingyun, and was so excited that she ran out immediately. Duan Lingtian followed behind. When he arrived at the gate of Duan Mansion, he saw his wife Li Fei hugging 2 familiar slim figures, and a smile appeared on his face. Xuanai and Xiaojin found it. This is a good start. Chapter 46-57. Elder Brother. Elder Brother. When Han Xuanai and Xiaojin saw Duan Lingtian, they immediately left Li Fei's arms in excitement, and threw themselves at Duan Lingtian. Tears of excitement fell down. In a completely unfamiliar environment, their sense of crisis increased greatly, especially since they had been protected by Duan Lingtian before. Comparing the two, they were like the difference between hell and heaven. I really didn't expect that the first ones I found were you 2 girls. Duan Lingtian also hugged the 2 girls one by one, smiled and patted their backs, and then separated them after a few words of comfort. In his eyes, the 2 girls are no different from his biological sisters. A quarter of an hour later, all the family members and friends around Duan Lingtian sat together, listening to the 2 daughters Han Xuanai talking about what happened after they ended up living here. Before coming to Chuzhou City, they also had a certain understanding of the world. Of course, Duan Lingtian doesn't know many things as well as he does. They didn't know the legend of the creation life chart. When they heard Duan Lingtian mention this, they were all shocked. They didn't expect that the world they used to live in, and the place outside the world, might actually be the creation of the world. An independent world opened up in the natal chart. No wonder the existence of laws cannot be sensed here. Xuanai suddenly realized, and the little face carved with gold powder and jade was also full of surprise. In any case, the arrival of Xuanai and Xiaojin gave everyone a boost in the arms. As time goes by, family members and friends will definitely come to seek refuge. Perhaps, There are other people from the God-defying realm who know Duan Lingtian coming. And this is indeed the case. Half a month later, another person came to Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City and approached Duan Lingtian. The person who came was actually Zhao Ani from the Qingyun holy sect in the land outside the boundary. When Duan Lingtian met him for the first time, he was the strongest member of the Qingyun holy sect, a saint with considerable strength, the strongest 6th level. The presence. Later, he also stepped into the 7th level of the strongest. Here, he also has the ability to enter the 7th level. It seems you didn't enter the Tower of Babel. Seeing Zhao Ani again, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but sigh. When his master Feng Qingyang followed his wife to the outside world, he asked his master to say hello to Zhao Ani and remind him not to enter Tongtian again. Tower. At that time, his thought was that he should be reminded that as for Zhao Inya's choice, it was entirely up to him. Now it seems that Zhao Ani has listened. Speaking of which, thanks to Brother Lingtian for your reminder. Zhao Ani cupped his hands in front of Duan Lingtian and said, "That day, Brother Feng also specifically mentioned in his message that you asked him to call Mr. Meng of Bibo Tianfu to inform me. Actually, at that time I didn't quite believe that there would be problems with the Tower of Babel. It's just that I feel that you won't do it without aim. So, I just refrained from entering the Tower of Babel again. But I didn't expect that something would really happen to the Tower of Babel. Before the land outside the boundary was destroyed, the turbulent space receded, and the law of elements disappeared. Zhao Ani also witnessed the collapse of the Tower of Babel, and heard the horrific screams coming from inside. It was horrifying and unforgettable. After some exchanges between the two, Duan Lingkai found out that Zhao Ani had also heard about the legend of the creation life plan, and concluded that the worlds and places outside the world were most likely to be the world created by the creation life plan. That Yueyuo is the master of the creation chart. However, he was caught, but I don't know if he was killed. In fact, I was not living in Chuzhou at first, but in another state next to Chuzhou. I came to Chuzhou because I wanted to get some information. When I realized that my strength was comparable to the 7th level strongman here, and that the strongest person in Chuzhou was only the 6th level, I also tried to defeat him, replace him, become famous everywhere, and then gather together my thoughts as a survivor of the Qingyun holy sect. Unexpectedly, I received news within a few days that Shuiyun sect Tingyun layman was defeated by a reclusive strongman named Duan Lingtian, and he was willing to become his follower, riding in front and behind. After I learned about the name of the anti-god sword that you promoted to the outside world, I guessed that it was you, so I came to look for you. It was rare for old friends to reunite, so Zhao Ani stayed with Duan Lingtian for a few days before leaving. There is Duan Lingshan's Duan Mansion in Chuzhou, and people who want to come to their Qingyun holy sect may also come here. Therefore, he planned to go to another state to make a name for himself, become a well-known figure there, and become the second Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian made an agreement with him to send someone to inform him after he has established a foothold. If someone from the Qingyun holy sect comes to Duan's house, Duan Lingtian will send someone to take him to Zhao Ani, and Zhao Ani will also help arrange the for Duan Lingtian. Family and friends. Mutual benefit and mutual assistance. The two of them already had a friendship, and since they were in a foreign land, it was natural for them to work together. Soon, as time went by, many old friends came to Chuzhou City Duan Mansion one after another. They were either people from the Nishan realm, or people from Bibo Tianfu, Qingyun sacred sect, or the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty. Duan Lingtian placed them one by one. Soon news came from Zhao Ani. Zhao Ani defeated the most powerful person in Yunzhou, and became the new #1 person in Yunzhou. He also named himself Old Man Qingyun, and also had a mansion of his own in Yunzhou, named Qingyun Mansion. After Duan Lingtian received the news, he sent someone to send several disciples of Qingyun holy sect over. Not long after sending the person away, Zhao Ani also sent someone over. The third master of the Xia family, Xiajia, was sent over. Third uncle. Both Duan Lingtian and Kir were very happy to see Xiajia again. Compared to Xiayu, the head of the Xia family, The two of them are closer to Xiajia. Later, several more powerful people from the God realm came to the Duan mansion. For them, in this strange world, it was much better for them to take refuge with Duan Lingtian, an 8th level powerhouse like them, than to live by themselves. Master Duan Lingtian is actually a powerful person on the 8th level. At the same time, Master Tingyun also learned from a powerful person in the Nishan realm that Duan Lingtian had mastered the 8th level swordsmanship, and was a genuine 8th level expert. It could be said that he was severely frightened. Jump! Before that, he had always regarded Duan Lingtian as a being on the 7th level of the Tao. But he didn't expect that he was a powerful person who had entered the 8th level. It didn't take long. Another unexpected person came to Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City. Duan Lingtian has actually never seen this person before. However, there is a lot of connection with him. This is a young girl who looks quirky. When she saw Duan Lingtian, she smiled and said, "I didn't expect that I found you first before I found Chimei and the others. Senior nephew Duan Lingtian, I have long admired your name." Chapter 46-58. This is a girl who looks to be about 13 or 14 years old. She has 2 braids on her head and pretty cheeks carved with pink and jade. I felt pity for her when I saw her. Although Duan Lingtian has never met her, he has heard of her more than once. The second city lord of the 13 cities in the Western Jin dynasty was Yu Xiao. She is also the second sister of his junior wife, Xue Qingzhu. Uncle Yu. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. He couldn't help it. He was really lower in seniority than the other party. After all, the other party's 7th sister was his junior wife. Good. Yu Xiao laughed and looked very optimistic, not at all pessimistic about the old friends who Duan Lingtian had come into contact with before, and came to this strange world. The two chatted for a while, and Duan Lingtian was the first to ask, "Uncle Yu, do you plan to go out and make a name for yourself and gather people from the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty? Now they are probably scattered all over the world." While communicating with Yu Xiao, he also learned that Yu Xiao also knew the existence of the creation life plan, and also guessed that the place outside the world where she was previously was a world created by the creation life plan. "I'm lazy." Yu Xiao yawned and shook his head. "Leave this kind of matter to your elder brother. From today on, I will stay at your house and wait for Chimei and Chishi brother-in-law to come to you." Seeing Yu Xiao's lazy look, Duan Lingtian was speechless for a while. He had long heard the master's wife talk about this person's glorious deeds, and knew his character, but when he came into contact with him seriously, he still couldn't help but feel deeply moved. How did such a lazy person reach the 6th level of the strongest, and become a saint before the Tower of Babel appeared? Later, after the Tongtian Tower appeared, the other party became the second most powerful 7th level powerhouse in the 13 cities of the Western Jin dynasty, after Xue Qingzhu. Although the laws of the divine earth world have disappeared, the opponent's strength is still comparable to the 7th level of the Tao in this world. "Uncle Yu, I heard Zhaoani from Qingyun Holy Sect say before that not only could he not sense the existence of the power of law in the world of gods and earth, but the power of bloodline has also disappeared. Is the power of your bloodline still there?" Duan Lingtian thought about this and couldn't help but ask. Yu Xiao nodded. "My bloodline power has also disappeared. If I guessed correctly, the so-called bloodline power of the aboriginal people in our outside world also appeared based on the power of law. It's just not like the law clone of you people from all realms, which directly targets the law. In the past, the powerful people from all realms did not have the power of blood as a basis. That was the method of the indigenous people in the outside world. The avatars of the laws possessed by powerful men in all realms cannot be condensed by the natives of the lands outside the realm. It can be said that each has its own advantages. Unexpectedly, all realms and the land outside the realm were destroyed, and all living beings fled to the world of gods. All these methods were lost in the dust of history. Duan Lingtian knew that after the world was shattered, it was almost impossible to go back. Unless we get the creation chart to see if we can repair the ruined world, then there may be a glimmer of hope. However, that must be a very difficult thing. However, he still wanted to try it if given the chance. After all, that is his hometown, and it means a lot to him, and even to people like him who live in the world of the gods. Uncle Yu, since you don't plan to go out and make trouble, otherwise, will this part of my house be left to you? I'll just go out and try my best to become more famous. I can also get along with Master Nyang and the others faster. Reunion. Once I'm reunited with Master Nyang and the others, tell them you're here, and they can come directly to you. Duan Lingtian said. As you sit here, you only need to protect my family and give them a safe cultivation environment. Yu Xiaonai is a being on the 7th level of Taoism. It couldn't be easier to save his Duan mansion and his family in Chuzhou. He didn't plan to take too many people with him when he left this time. At most, Huaner and Kier should be brought with them. Both girls have already entered the Tao. As for the other people who have never entered the Tao, it is better to let them stay here to practice. He can rest assured that Yu Xiao will protect him. That's no problem. Yu Xiao nodded. It's much better for you to go out and try it than for me. With my strength, the fame I can achieve is limited. You are different. With your strength, although it's only the 8th level of the Tao, but the general Tao on the 9th floor, I'm afraid it's hard for anyone to be your opponent. As Xue King's second sister, she had long known Duan Lingshan's industry from Xue King's mouth. She knew that Duan Lingtian not only understood the way of swordsmanship to the 8th level, but also had extremely high attainments in the way of control and the way of infinity. Now, she guessed that she might have entered the 7th level. Then it's settled. After getting Yu Xiao's consent, Duan Lingtian breathed a sigh of relief, so that he could leave with peace of mind. After saying hello to Yu Xiao and leaving, Duan Lingtian gathered his family together and told his plan at the same time. He is planning to leave Chuzhou and go to a place where there are more powerful people, to further build his fame, so that his old friends, relatives and friends who are still living abroad can reunite. Naturally, all the wives wanted to go, but Duan Lingtian only asked Huaner and Kier to accompany them. The reason was that they had already entered the Tao, and the others had not, so it was better to practice hard. When Li Fei and Feng Tianwu heard this, determination flashed in their eyes, and they were determined to sprint into the Tao. Duan Ruffing and Li Ro didn't feel much at all. They stayed in Chuzhou City for a while, and felt that it was a good place and suitable for retirement. Han Xuanai and Xiao Jin were also a little disappointed that they could not go out with Duan Lingtian. They were also full of yearning for strength and decided to concentrate on training in the next time, and enter the Tao as soon as possible. After explaining to his family, Duan Lingtian found a special time to introduce Yu Xiao to them. After knowing that Yu Xiao was Xue King's second sister, everyone was very enthusiastic. Uncle Yu, I will leave my family to you. A few days later, Duan Lingtian said hello to Yu Xiao, took Huaner and Kier, and left together under the watchful eyes of Yu Xiao and others. The procession that sent Duan Lingtian away was huge. Not only Yu Xiao and Duan Lingshan's family members, but also some old friends from the past were there. Even the layman Ting Yin of the Shuiyun sect was also there. Although he was a little disappointed with Duan Lingshan's departure, he was still inexplicably excited when he thought that Duan Lingtian had left him with some knowledge of swordsmanship before leaving. All your efforts over this period of time have finally paid off. Next, during the time when Lord Duan Lingtian is away, he must express himself better. As long as he wins Lord Duan Lingshan's favor, why can't he make further progress in swordsmanship? Brother Tian, let's leave Chuzhou. Where will we go next? Before leaving Chuzhou, Kier asked curiously. Until now, Duan Lingtian has not told Kier and Huaner the destination of their trip. Go to Jiangzhou, which is also the core area of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and the capital of Divine Kingdom is there. Duan Lingtian said. Chapter 46-59. To this day, Duan Lingshan's understanding of the world of divine soil is limited to Jianglan Divine Kingdom and the surrounding area. Chuzhou is just a relatively remote state in Jianglanshan's country. If Duan Lingtian hadn't been born, there would have been no existence above the 7th level of the Tao in Chuzhou for many years. There are more than one person who has entered the 7th level of the Tao in some of the cities and towns within the Jianglan Divine Kingdom that are close to Jiangzhou, where the capital of the Divine Kingdom is located. In the core state of Jiangzhou, although there are not countless existences above the 7th level of Tao, there are still quite a few. If we don't talk about anything else, in the capital of the Kingdom of God, all the forces that can be named are among them. There is an entrance on the 7th floor, the strong ones above. Rumor has it that Jianglan, the patron saint of the Kingdom of God and the great enshrinement of the royal family of the Kingdom of God, is a super strong man who has entered the 9th level of the Tao. As the capital of the Kingdom of God, it is naturally very prosperous. It is much stronger than Chuzhou City. However, for Duan Lingtian and his party, they did not feel much, because in the world they were in the past, in the land outside the boundary, there were many cities that were as prosperous as the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and they had also been there, so I don't think it's that strange. Kier Huaner, let's find an inn to stay first, and then I'll go out to do some errands, Duan Lingtian said to his wife beside him. The two girls also nodded sensibly, knowing that with their current strength, they can barely protect themselves. That's good. I can't help my husband. It's better to stay in the inn and practice hard. Strive to go further. There is basically no shortage of training resources, and my husband's personal guidance on kendo means the road ahead is smooth. After arranging his wife, Duan Lingtian walked out of the inn, asked for directions, and finally went to a vast mansion in the capital. He said to several servants guarding the door, I am Duan Lingtian from Duan Mansion in Chuzhou, and I am here to come to your Hong Mansion. A strong one Hong Dongchuan is participating in the discussion, please let me know. Hong Dongchuan is a well-known strong man in the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. He is a person on the 8th level of the Tao. He is also a big figure in the capital of the Divine Kingdom. In addition, the Hong family is still a relative of the emperor, so Hong Dongchuan is within the scope of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Status extremely high, respected by thousands of people. The mansion in front of me has a plaque with the word Hong Mansion hanging on the door. This is where the Hong family's mansion is located. When several domestic slaves heard Duan Lingshan's words, their pupils shrank slightly. They didn't look like they were joking, and most people didn't dare to make such a joke. After all, this kind of joke can kill people. Therefore, they did not dare to neglect, and a servant immediately turned around and returned to the Hong Mansion, and hurriedly went to find the person in charge of their Hong Mansion, the current head of the Hong family, Hong Wuxia. After hearing the report from the slave, Hong Wuxi's pupils shrank slightly. Chuzhou. Duan Lingtian? It seems to be the anti-god sword Duan Lingtian. Although Duan Lingshan's current fame is not enough to spread throughout the entire Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Hong Wuxia, as the person in charge of the Hong Mansion and the current head of the Hong family, has a lot of respect for God. There are many new strong men in various states in the country who know a lot about each other. Naturally, I have heard about the newly rising Duan Lingtian. In addition, in another state of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, another strong man who entered the 7th level of Taoism has emerged, named Zhaoani, who calls himself Old Man Qingyan. Duan Lingtian, the anti-god sword, Qingyan Old Man Zhaoani. I heard that these two people have some contact. They all seem to appear out of thin air. Some time ago, I heard that the training place of the new master of Chuangshi Lifepan was found. Many powerful Hadao men took action, seriously injuring him and severely damaging Chuangshi Lifepan. It almost destroyed the world created in the creation chart, causing all the creatures in it to flow out. All parties in the world of Luoshentu. Are these two people from that place? As the person in charge of the Hong Mansion, Hong Wuxia knew far more than ordinary people. However, Duan Lingtian, the anti-god sword, dares to come to our Hong Mansion and threatens to challenge the ancestor. I am afraid that it is not the 7th level of the Taoists mentioned in the rumors. I am afraid that it has already entered the 8th level of the Taoist. Thinking of this, Hong Wu couldn't help but feel a bit of fear in his eyes. And then he took his servants to the gate of Hong Mansion in person. Your Excellency, you must be the new strongest person in Chuzhou recently, Master Duan Lingtian of the anti-sword sword, right? Although Hong Wuxia is the head of the Hong family, he himself is only on the 6th level of Taoism. He does not dare to neglect or make excuses in front of this young man in purple who looks very young. I am Hong Wuxia, the person in charge of Hong Mansion. I heard that you came to Hong Mansion to challenge our Hong Mansion ancestors? Hong Wu's words were quite polite. Duan Lingtian nodded. I'm going to test the depth of the 8th level Taoist from your Hong Mansion. If I can beat him, I also hope that you, Hongwu, can pull the strings so that I can have a chance to challenge the 9th level Taoist from the Imperial compound. Hearing this, Hong Wu's heart was filled with turmoil. What's the situation? This Duan Lingtian also wants to challenge the 9th level member of their royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The being who is known as the guardian of Jianglan Divine Kingdom? Does he really have that strength, or did he drift away after becoming the number 1 person in Chuzhou? Lord Duan Lingtian, I will take you to see the ancestor. As for whether the ancestor is willing to spar with you, I dare not make the decision for him. Hong Wuji secretly took a deep breath, calmed down the restlessness in his heart, and said politely to Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he also had a lot of thoughts in his mind. It is said that the new owner of the Creation Life chart cannot completely control the Creation Life chart like the old owner of the Creation Life chart. Once the life that opened up the world in it has the strength to reach the 7th level of entry or above, it will be difficult for him to cover it up. Creation chart, their traces will be discovered and even hunted down. After all, he stole and reorganized the creation chart in order to imitate the old owner of the creation chart, and wanted to follow the forbidden life sacrifice method. Under such circumstances, he actually allowed the beings inside to appear as beings above the 7th level of the Tao? Isn't this seeking death? No wonder he was discovered and almost killed. Good. Duan Lingtian nodded, and then followed Hong Wuji into the Hong Mansion. Soon, in a quiet courtyard deep in the Hong Mansion, he met the ancestor of the Hong Mansion, the 8th level Taoist who was famous in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Prison Knife Hong Dongchuan. As his name suggests, what he is good at is the sword way among all the ways. Although Hong Dongchuan is the ancestor of the Hong Mansion, he is actually a handsome young man. He looks to be about the same age as Duan Lingtian. After learning Duan Lingtian's identity and purpose, his eyes could not help but reveal something. Share fighting spirit. Chuzhou Nishenjian, I have heard of you. Some time ago, an old friend of mine told me that there is a new strong man in Chuzhou with a name that is quite similar to mine. The anti-god sword, the prison-suppressing sword, are indeed somewhat similar. Since you dare to challenge me, you must have entered the 8th level of the Tao, right? Chapter 4660. Hong Dongchuan is a cheerful person. After learning Duan Lingtian's intention, he agreed to his challenge. He even intended to build momentum for Duan Lingtian, and made an agreement with Duan Lingtian to fight on the highest peak Qingtian Peak, near the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom in half a year. At the same time, the Hong Mansion will spread the news widely from now on. Like Hong Wuji, he also guessed Duan Lingtian's identity, and also guessed Duan Lingtian's purpose of eagerness to become famous, which was nothing more than to reunite his family and friends who were scattered across the divine land. Brother Lingtian, you should come from the world created by the Creation Life Plan, right? Hong Dongchuan got straight to the point, and made the point straight away. Hearing Hong Dongquan's words, Duan Lingtian secretly took a deep breath. Unexpectedly, the other party guessed his origin. He quickly asked the other party how he guessed his origin. He had no intention of hiding his origins. That's not necessary. The owner of the Creation Life chart will be targeted by the powerful people in the world of gods and earth, because he uses the new world opened up by the Creation Life chart to practice the forbidden life sacrifice method, and exchange the spiritual life of all living things for the improvement of his own strength. Therefore, he provokes the world. Angry people blame. It can be seen from this that the powerful people in the world of gods and earth still prefer justice. Even if it is just superficial justice, it is still considered justice. If Jianglan Divine Kingdom only produced you, the anti-god sword, I wouldn't guess that you are from there. However, another old man Qingyin appeared later, and I had to connect you too. In the 2 states where the strongest people were originally the 6th level, 2 existences above the 7th level have appeared one after another. It makes people curious about your origins. It's like you appeared out of thin air. It's true that there are powerful people in the hidden world in the world of gods and earth, but basically it will take a long time for one to appear, or they won't be born at all. But you guys appear one after another, which makes people think deeply. Now, I am not the only one who guesses like this. Even the existences above the 7th level of Jianglan Divine Kingdom also guess like this. In fact, some people have long wanted to meet and communicate with you. If you don't come to the capital, I'm afraid it won't be long before someone goes to Duan Mansion in Chuzhou Prefecture to visit you. After hearing Hong Dongquan's words, Duan Lingtian realized that he was already the #1 figure in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and had entered the vision of the top powerhouses in Jianglan Divine Kingdom. At this time, Duan Lingtian also understood why Hong Dongquan had decided to announce the match 3 months later. This is intentional to help him. Just now, he thought that Hong Dongquan wanted to defeat him openly in front of more people, so as to satisfy his vanity. Now it seems that after some exchanges, he can also feel the kindness from the other party. It is obvious that he thought of the other party too badly. Thank you, Brother Hong. Duan Lingtian thanked him repeatedly, because he knew that as the news spreads in the Hong Mansion, I am afraid that the entire Jianglan Divine Kingdom will spread about the showdown between the two of them half a year later. The strong men from Lanshan Kingdom will definitely be their field. Even outside Jianglan Divine Kingdom, there will definitely be people coming to watch the battle. Brother Lingtian is welcome. Hong Dongquan smiled slightly. You have just arrived, so you probably don't have a place to live in the capital, right? I'll ask Wuxia to arrange a mansion for you and your wife to live in. Just now, during the communication with Duan Lingtian, he also learned that Duan Lingtian did not come alone. He also brought 2 ladies with him. Thank you, Brother Hong. In this way, Duan Lingtian, Kier, and Huaner also found a place to stay in the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Hong Wuxia arranged a place for Duan Lingtian. After returning to Hong Mansion, he approached Hong Dongquan and asked, Ancestor, are you too kind to Duan Lingtian? He could tell that this ancestor had a love for money. You should know that I was born with sharp senses, especially after I entered Taoism. I am even more different from ordinary people. Hong Dongquan was sitting at the table drinking tea. After taking a sip of tea, his eyes flickered. Duan Lingtian, in addition to his understanding of swordsmanship, the realm is not weaker than my sword art. He should have also comprehended at least one kind of 10,000 ways above the 7th level. You should know what this means. As soon as Hong Dongquan said these words, Hong Wuxia couldn't help but take a breath of air. How is this possible? It is extremely difficult to comprehend a Tao and advance to the 7th level. The second way is more difficult. For example, the ancestor of their Hong Mansion is not only good at swordsmanship, he is also good at several other ways. However, among those several ways, the strongest ones only reach the 6th level. It is difficult to cross the threshold of the 7th level, because he will be mastered. The Tao Dao of swords is rejected. Under the pressure of 8 levels of swordsmanship, trying to promote the other ways to the 7th level is difficult to achieve. In the current Jianglan Divine Kingdom, as far as he knows, there are only a few people who have promoted the second path to the 7th level. This has also established the status of those 2 as the strongest, making them stand in the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The pinnacle is called invincible. One of them is said to have transcended the path of enlightenment and stepped onto the path of harmony. Looking at the entire world of gods and earth, there are only a few dozen powerful Hadao people. It is said that if you want to merge with the Tao, the first threshold is to comprehend the 2 Tao to the 7th level or above. The second threshold is to comprehend the 2 Tao to the 9 level or above. Fusion of the 2 Tao will open up your own path. A brand new way, and the combination is successful, is the third threshold. Only when all 3 thresholds are passed can one achieve harmony. The difficulty of harmony has existed throughout ancient and modern times. Only when you have passed the first threshold can you be considered qualified to be a Taoist. Being friends with such a person will bring no harm to me or the Hong Mansion. After hearing Hong Dongquan's words, Hong Wuxia knew that what the ancestor just said was 90% correct. The ancestor is a cautious and arrogant person. If the other party was not really good, he would not be able to create such momentum and be willing to become a stepping stone for others. When the two of them were communicating in Hong Mansion, on Duan Lingshan's side, Kier and Huaner were also quite surprised after hearing Duan Lingshan's experience in Hong Mansion. Then Senior Hong Dongchuan from Hong Mansion is so easy to talk to, and he also takes the initiative to help Brother Tian to build momentum and make Brother Tian famous? Kier felt that the other party was too kind to her husband, which was simply unreasonable. In fact, Duan Lingtian is still a little confused about this. Logically speaking, the other party should not be so careful about him. This seems to be a deliberate investment in him, just because he may be able to defeat him and advance. Want to become famous? However, there are a few people who are willing to become stepping stones for others. Duan Lingtian was really confused by Hong Dongquan's help from the Hong Mansion, and he couldn't figure out why the other party was so kind to him. He couldn't refuse this kind offer. Chapter 46-61. The Hong Mansion of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom intentionally spread the news. The news that the strongest man in Chuzhou, Duan Lingtian, came to the capital to challenge Hong Dongchuan, the powerful man of the Hong Mansion, quickly spread throughout the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and even the surrounding areas. Come on, Hong Dongchuan, I do know that he is a strong man who has been famous for many years in our Jianglan Divine Kingdom. He is also a strong man who has entered the 8th level. In terms of strength, in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, not to mention the top 3, he is definitely in the top 5. Something. But that part of Ling God, who is it? Isn't the most powerful person in Chuzhou the Master Tingyun of Shuiyun sect, the top sect in Chuzhou? Somewhere in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, someone asked such a question. You just came out of seclusion, so it's not surprising that you don't know. Someone immediately helped the former to clarify his doubts. Speaking of Duan Lingtian, he is a new strong man in Chuzhou. It is said that he originally practiced in seclusion, and after he came out of seclusion he went to Shuiyun Zong, challenged Layman Tingyun, and defeated him easily. Because Duan Lingtian was good at it is the way of swordsmanship that makes Layman Tingyun willing to follow him around, riding in front of and behind him. There are even rumors that this anti-divine sword Duan Lingtian may not be as simple as a 7th level powerhouse. Now it seems that it is indeed the case. If he doesn't have the strength to enter the 8th level, why should he fight with Senior Hong Dongchuan? After hearing this, the former suddenly realized, no wonder I said I haven't heard of Duan Lingtian. It turns out that he is a new strong man in Chuzhou. His name is Reverse Divine Sword? That goes hand in hand with Hong Dongquan's name, Prison Suppressing Sword. I don't know who will be better then. The news came out a month ago, and their duel will be in 5 months. Then I will go over and see it with my own eyes. Half a year later, the anti-divine sword Duan Lingtian and the prison-suppressing sword Hong Dongchuan will fight on Qingtian Peak near the capital, attracting the attention of not only the people of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, but also people outside Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Be attracted. In the world of Divine Land, there is only one Divine Kingdom, which is Jianglan Divine Kingdom. However, the area occupied by Jianglan Divine Kingdom is less than 1% of the Divine Land world. In addition to Jianglan Divine Kingdom, there are many vast mountains, rivers, rivers and seas in the rest of the Divine Earth world, many of which are very. It is a dangerous place that only powerful monks dare not set foot in. Jianglan Divine Kingdom is not the richest place in the Divine Land world, and is barely at the middle level. The human gathering places in the Divine Land world are not only the Divine Kingdom, but also divine realms, temples, etc. To the north of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, there is a dangerous place called the Endless Sword Domain, which is said to be a long-lasting place. Previously, 2 strong swordsmen who had entered the extremely high level of the Hadao realm were engaged in a life-and-death fight. They continued to fight for several months, creating a dangerous place. It is also a place that swordsmen love and hate. I love it because entering the Endless Sword realm gives you the opportunity to further improve your swordsmanship. I hate it because there are so many dangers inside, and if you are not careful, you may lose your life in it. Finally, a breakthrough. Otherwise, it will be really embarrassing. Within the Endless Sword domain, A green figure burst out with light, and then shrank sharply. He rose into the sky, bathed in the rain of swords, without fear, and his body suddenly felt strong. A bright sword light rises, and it will fall like a ravage. The sword rain was annihilated, and he flew away from the endless sword domain in a blink of an eye. After coming out, he paused, revealing a tall and straight figure and a tough and handsome face. Huh! Breathing a sigh of relief, he Feng Suyufeng spent half a day arriving at a nearby city. It was also the first city he settled in after coming to this world of gods and earth. In this city, he got the answer to why he was here. At the same time, I also know why there is no power of law here. Just like in the past, Feng Qingyang was eating in a restaurant when he suddenly heard two monks whispering to each other. The sound was not loud, but he could still hear it clearly. In Jianglan Divine Kingdom in the south, two 8th level monks have agreed to face off at Qingtian Peak near the Divine Kingdom in 3 months. Prison suppressing knife Hong Dongchuan. After he came here, he had heard about Hong Dongchuan and knew that he was a well-known strong man from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. He was good at swordsmanship and had amazing strength. He was a person who had reached the 8th level of Taoism. Reverse Divine Sword, Duan Lingtian? When he heard the name of Hong Dongquan's opponent, he was stunned again. Then his face was filled with joy. Xiaotian. Even if just the name Duan Lingtian is associated with the cultivation realm of the 8th level, he will immediately think of his disciple Duan Lingtian, let alone Duan Lingtian in other people's mouth, and in I Excalibur this a name. Isn't the name of the Nishan sword taken from the Nishan realm? I didn't expect to hear about him so soon. Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Feng Qingyang stood up and prepared to say hello to the other two Aboriginal friends from the Divine Land world whom he met in the city, and then left here to go to the Jianglan Divine Kingdom in the south to reunite with his disciple Duan Lingtian. After the battle between Xiaotian and Hong Dongchuan is over, we can make an appointment with him to go deep into the endless sword realm. There are some places that I dare not enter easily by myself. With him, we can explore more deeply. Feng Qingyang secretly said. The two people Feng Qingyang recognized in this city were both sword cultivators, but they were both sword cultivators who had only entered the 6th level of the Tao. There was a gap between him and him who had entered the 7th level before today, let alone those who had just broken through and been promoted to the Tao today. 8 floors his. This world of gods and earth is too wonderful. Once one reaches the 8th level of swordsmanship, one's cultivation will naturally follow suit, and he will break through to the 8th level of the Tao. Unlike the world where his disciple Duan Lingtian was in the past, after entering the 8th level of swordsmanship, you still need to accumulate to a certain level before you can go one step further, and step into the 8th level of the most powerful. You too. I have something to do and I have to leave here temporarily. We will meet again when we have the opportunity in the future. Feng Qingyang said hello to his two friends, but did not tell them what he was going to do. Even if they were friends, he did not feel that he could completely trust them. Even the fact that he most likely came from the new world opened up by the creation chart has never been mentioned to anyone. The wind blew gently out of the city and headed south. Soon he entered the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. After entering Jiangzhou and arriving at the capital of the Kingdom of God, he was not in a hurry to inquire about the whereabouts of his disciple Duan Lingtian. Instead, he found an inn and stayed there, preparing to wait for his disciple Duan Lingtian to finish fighting Hong Dongchuan before meeting him again. Gather. Take your time. I don't know if Qingzhou is in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, or even in the surrounding areas. If you are here, I will come here when I hear the news that Xiaotian is going to fight someone. When the Nirvana heaven was shattered, he and his Taoist companion Xue Qingzhou were so shocked by the changes before them that they temporarily ignored it. They fell in love with each other, and finally separated and wandered to the world of gods and earth. They did not appear in the same place, and they have not found each other yet. Chapter 46-62. Before and after Feng Qingyang came to the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, many gods and powerful people who had survived from the Nishi realm came here, but they did not worry too much and went directly to Duan Lingtian. Coming to this world that is completely unfamiliar to them, they have no sense of security at all. Even the most powerful people here are masters of Taoism. But ordinary Taoism is really nothing within the scope of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. In Jianglan Divine Kingdom, one must at least reach the 4th level of entry to be considered a strong person. Only those who have entered the 6th level or above can dominate some states. For these visitors, Duan Lingtian also told them about his arrangements at Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City, telling them that they could go there. As for the capital, he had not made arrangements yet. After hearing this, a group of gods began to leave the capital together, preparing to leave Jiangzhou and go to Chuzhou. There are also people who have entered the 7th level of the Dao and are sheltered there, and they are also fellow villagers. They all want to go there early and seek shelter. In their opinion, this way they can better survive in this new world. Lord Duan Lingtian, do we have a chance to go back? Some people also asked Duan Lingtian this way, but Duan Lingtian didn't give them hope. He shook his head and said bluntly, there is a high probability that he will not be able to go back. The fact is that if you can get the creation chart, you might not be able to go back. Of course, that's all for the future. At least, he is still some distance away from where he is now. He asked Hong Dongchuan about the new owner of the creation life chart, Yu Luaha, and learned that Yu Luaha himself was a powerful Hadao man. He reorganized the creation life chart in order to unite the world. 2 roads, once they are combined successfully, his strength will be further enhanced. Not to mention dominating the world of gods and earth. At least he has no more enemies to defeat. Hadao is extremely difficult. It is difficult to achieve one kind of Tao, let alone a second Tao, because only the unique Tao can be combined. The Tao of forbidden life sacrifices can only be practiced by the owner of the creation chart, so only the owner of the creation chart can follow this way. According to Hong Mansion's most powerful man, the prison-suppressing sword Hong Dongchuan, in the entire divine land world, there are only 2 people who have successfully combined the 2 ways. As for whether there are people who have combined the 2 ways secretly, no one knows, but even if there is, there are only 1 or 2 people standing in the sky. Once the owner of the creation chart successfully joins the path of life sacrifice, no one in the world of gods and earth will be able to check and balance him, and prevent him from continuing on the path of life sacrifice. In the world of gods and earth, there is another reason why it is difficult to merge with the Tao. That is, monks in the world of gods and earth also have a lifespan limit. They cannot live forever, they can only live forever. Only in the new world opened up by the creation life chart can the rules of eternal life be created through the power of laws, but only the new lives born in it can enjoy those rules. In the divine land world, there is no natural disaster, but there is a lifespan limit. Duan Lingtian asked Hong Dongchuan if people who came out of the creation world and entered the world of gods and earth had already reached the end of their lifespan. Would anything bad happen to them? Hong Dongchuan bluntly said that such people would not survive more than 3 days in the world of gods and earth. Because they have left the eternal rules of the creation chart world, they will no longer be protected by the eternal rules. At that time, Duan Lingtian also realized, in all realms, and even in places outside the realm, it is estimated that there will be many extremely powerful people and ordinary cultivators who will die because their lifespan has reached the end after coming to the world of the gods. Of course, Duan Lingtian, his family and friends don't need to think about this issue now, because they are still very young now. Even if you don't become a Taoist, there is no problem in living for tens of thousands of years. After entering the Tao, even if you only enter the first level of the Tao, you can live for more than 100,000 years. A group of deities left and headed to Duanfu in Chuzhou City, but the remaining strongest men were not in a hurry to leave. They were all waiting for the shocking showdown between Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan, a strong man from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Not long after, they all watched the battle with their own eyes, and maybe they could see from it, out some doorway, understand something. As for those gods, the reason why they did not stay was because they knew that with their own strength, even if they arrived at the scene, they would not be able to clearly see the movements of Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan. Instead of wasting time here, it would be better to go to Chuzhou and settle down as soon as possible to practice in seclusion and improve your strength. Coming to the world of the gods, although there is no calamity to deal with once in 1,000 years, there is a lifespan limit. They don't want to die of old age, so there is only one way, which is to continue to become stronger, have a longer lifespan, and live well. Go. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 days left before the duel between Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan. At this time, the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom became completely lively, because basically everyone who is supposed to come has arrived. At least 99% of those who wanted to watch the battle between Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian 3 days later came to the capital, and the rest were basically people from nearby areas who planned to rush directly to Qingtian Peak to watch the battle that day. Lord Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian received an uninvited guest which surprised him. Are you here too? The person who came was none other than layman Tingyin from Shuiyin sect in Chuzhou. My lord, I will naturally be there to observe your battle with Senior Hong Dongchuan. My swordsmanship is just about to reach the threshold. I have an intuition that your battle with Senior Hong Dongchuan may help me cross the threshold. Just enter the 7th floor. When layman Tingyin talked about it, he looked excited and looked like he believed in his intuition. Then I'll congratulate you in advance. Duan Lingtian smiled. He still has a good impression of the layman Tingyun. Although he helped the other party a lot, the other party also saved him a lot of worry. It is said that his situation in Chuzhou City was basically controlled by layman Tingyun in the early stage, until he later took refuge in him. There are more and more fellows, and then Master Tingyun was able to get out. Master Tingyun did not stay long. He said hello to Duan Lingtian, and then left, letting Duan Lingtian prepare for the battle 3 days later. Sir, I have confidence in you. My intuition tells me that you will win this battle. These were the last words Master Tingyun said before leaving, and Duan Lingtian couldn't help but shake his head and smile. This guy's intuition is quite accurate. After Master Tingyun left, he continued to meditate in the courtyard of the mansion, sitting by the pool, and continued to study the way of swordsmanship. I don't know when the way of swordsmanship can take a step further and step into the 9th level. Although the memory of old man Wukong that I inherited has the 9th level of swordsmanship, it is not easy to completely integrate it with mine. During the retreat, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. The day of decisive battle has arrived. Chapter 46-63. A group of people gathered early in the morning around Qingtian Peak, near Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and as time went by, there were more and more people. It's the old master of Feihe sect in Hangzhou, old man Songha. As several people came from afar, the old man at the head attracted the attention of many people, and these people recognized him. The old man is wearing a loose robe with pine and crane embroidered on it. His face is old, but his eyes are shining. He looks very energetic, and his temperament and appearance form a contradictory combination. Even people who don't know him are confused. You will be attracted to him involuntarily. He is the most powerful man in Hangzhou, old man Songha, who has entered the 7th level of the Tao. One person exclaimed. This was the first time he saw old man Songha, but it did not affect that he had heard of him before, because old man Songha has been famous in Jianglan Divine Kingdom for a long time. He once attained the 5th level of Taoism, and was defeated by 3 monks from the same realm. The whole body retreated from below. That battle was also the battle where old man Songha became famous. Later, whether old Songha was promoted to the 6th or 7th level, it attracted a lot of attention. After he was promoted to the 7th level of Taoism, he even defeated another 7th level monk from Hangzhou in a competition. The opponent was also the number 1 person in Hangzhou in the past. After that, old man Songha also became a veritable master of Hangzhou. The strongest one after old man Songha. There were also new 7th level monks in Hangzhou who challenged him, but were defeated by him and defended their glory. In Jianglan God's country, the most powerful people in many states are those who have entered the 7th level or above. Only the more remote states, such as Chuzhou, do not have 7th level monks. But when Duan Lingtian and Zhaoani came to Jianglan after the Kingdom of God, but it raised the strength level of the strongest players in the 2 states. I heard that old man Song's second way has already reached the 6th level. That's why he has such strength. I don't know if it's true or not. In my opinion, it's true. Otherwise, why would he be recognized as the first echelon of the 7th level Dao in Jianglan God's country? While many people were whispering, some monks who knew Old Man Songha came up to say hello to Old Man Songha, but they basically greeted him in a humble manner because they were not as powerful as Old Man Songha. After Old Man Songha finished dealing with the people who came to say hello, he sat cross-legged in the void and began to close his eyes and meditate. At this time, if any new people approach, even those who know Old Songha, they will not be able to disturb him. Another old man is here. Soon, when more than a dozen figures came from the sky in the distance, someone recognized the leader. He was also an old man, with white hair and a childish face, and an extraordinary temperament. Elder. Some people are confused. That's our new strong man in Yunzhou, Old Man Qingyun. What? Haven't you heard of it? A monk from Yunzhou asked doubtfully. Is he Old Man Qingyun, the new strongest person in Yunzhou? I heard that he is very strong. He not only defeated the original strongest person in Yunzhou, but also a 6th level Daoist who came from Qianzhou near Yunzhou. The strongest man in Qianzhou, a 7th level monk, also went to Yunzhou to discuss with him, but was defeated by killed his men. He just rose up not long ago. I haven't really seen him, but I have heard about him. Old Man Qingyun is none other than Zhaoani, who comes from the same place as Duan Lingtian. He is the ancestor of the Qingyun holy sect in the land outside the world in the past. He is a powerful 7th level existence. He became good friends with Duan Lingtian and was promoted to the strongest 7th level. Try to find after meeting Duan Lingtian several times. During the discussion with Duan Lingtian, his strength has obviously improved a lot. Before the destruction of the Outer Land, although the Outer Land had given birth to many powerful 7th level warriors, his strength was still at the forefront, second only to Xue Qingzhu and Bibo Tianfu from the 13th city of the Western Jin dynasty, Meng Han and several others. Now the dozen or so people behind Qingyun Old Man Zhaoani are all saints from the past outside the world. After confirming his identity, they went to Qingyun Mansion in Yunzhou to seek refuge with him. This time, when they learned that the celebrity Duan Lingtian from their original world was going to compete with an 8th level master from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, they were also very interested and came with Zhaoani to join in the fun. It was precisely because of their existence that Zhaoani couldn't get rid of them, and went to Duan Lingtian to reminisce about the past. I thought that after this duel was over, I would get together with Duan Lingtian. Master of the Palace, do you think Lord Duan Lingtian can win? A person behind Zhaoani asked Zhaoani. Hearing this, Zhaoani said calmly, whether he can win or not, we just have to wait and see. In my personal estimation, he will definitely win. Zhao Enya's voice was not loud, but it was not small either. The strength of everyone present was not weak. Basically, they are all powerful people who have entered the Tao. When they heard Zhao Enya's words, many people felt that he was a bit arrogant. This old man Qingyun, he is so optimistic about Duan Lingtian? Does he not know how powerful Senior Hong Dongchuan is? I heard that he and Duan Lingtian are fellow villagers, and they are suspected of coming from the world behind the creation life chart. Based on his understanding of Duan Lingtian, it is normal for him to have confidence in Duan Lingtian. The world after the creation life chart? Not long ago, the world behind the creation life chart Pan Xinju was seriously injured and escaped, and the lives that escaped from the world of creation Ming Pan? I heard that at that time several powerful Hadao men joined forces, and did not leave Yuluaha behind, and let Yuluaha take away the badly injured Chuangshi life Pan. After learning that Zhao Ani and Duan Lingtian were suspected to be from the creation world, many people looked at Zhao Ani curiously. There were also some people who didn't know much about the creation chart and asked curiously. After learning the ins and outs of the matter, they couldn't help but be surprised. No wonder Chuzhou and Jiangzhou in the Jianglan Divine Kingdom have had an incident recently. Located above the 7th floor of the entrance rode the strong man on the top. Turns out to be a person from the world of creation and birth chart. I heard that in the world of the creation chart, there are rules set by the owner of the creation chart. The life born in it can even live forever in the world inside. Eternal life? Real or fake? In the world of gods and earth, even those who are strong in harmony cannot live forever. At this time even old man Songha couldn't help but open his eyes and walk towards Zhaoani. Luo Song, I have met fellow Taoist Zhao. Fellow Taoist Luo. Zhaoani has been here for a while, and heard many people mentioning the old man Songha. He knew that the other party was quite powerful, and was a leader among the 7th-level Taoists in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, so he did not dare to neglect and responded with a smile. Fellow Taoist Zhao, do you really come from the world in the creation chart? Songha old man Luo Song was obviously also quite curious about this. Faced with Luo Song's inquiry, Zhaoani was about to speak, but by chance at this moment, he saw someone out of the corner of his eye, and he couldn't help but look excited for a moment. It's him. He is here too. Chapter 46-64. When Zhaoani looked over, Feng Qingyang, who had just arrived at the scene, also saw him. After nodding and smiling at him, he also approached Yukong. Recently, when I was in the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, I often heard the name of the old man Zhaoani from Qingyun and Yunzhou. I guessed it was you at that time. I didn't expect to meet so soon. Feng Qingyang came not far from Zhaoani and said with a smile, Senior Feng, I didn't expect to meet you here. Zhaoani also said with a smile, but with a bit of respect in his tone, because he and Duan Lingtian are equals, and Feng Qingyang is Duan Lingshan's master, and he has always been called the other person senior. Even if the other person was in the counter-god world in the past, he was told many times that he didn't need to be called that. This is the number 1 person in Hangzhou, old man Songha, fellow Taoist Luo Song. Zhaoani did not ignore Luo Song for too long, and introduced him to Feng Qingyang at the right time. He had heard about Luo Song. If Luo Song really mastered the 2nd path and reached the 6th level as the rumors said, then he would definitely not be his opponent. Maybe even the senior Feng in front of him would not be his opponent. I have been in the capital for a while and have heard of Taoist brother Luo Song. Feng Qingyang nodded to Luo Song and smiled friendly. Zhaoani then introduced Feng Qingyang to Luo Song. Fellow Taoist Luo Song, this is the master of Duan Lingtian, one of the 2 protagonists today. Feng Qingyang, because Duan Lingtian and I are the same generation, I call him senior. You can just discuss friendship with him as an equal. After hearing Zhao Enya's introduction to Feng Qingyang, Luo Song was shocked. This was Duan Lingshan's master? Luo Song, I have met fellow Taoist Feng. He can still look down on Zhaoani, but he dare not look down on Feng Qingyang. After all, he is Duan Lingshan's master. Duan Lingtian is a powerful person who has entered the 8th level of Taoism. Fellow Taoist Luo Song, didn't you just ask me if I came from the creation life plan world? I, Duan Lingtian, and Senior Feng are all from the creation life plan world. Duan Lingtian and Senior Feng, even more so, are the world's top powerhouse. Zhaoani said with a smile. Luo Song was startled, looked at Feng Qingyang, and asked tentatively, Fellow Taoist Feng, you must not have just entered the 7th level of Taoism, right? Zhaoani just wanted to say that although Feng Qingyang is also on the 7th level, his strength is far superior to that of ordinary 7th level people. At least he is not Feng Qingyang's opponent. However, Feng Qingyang was the first to speak. I didn't break through earlier than my disciple. I was lucky enough to break through to the 8th level recently. One sentence shocked Zhaoani and the people behind him. Senior Feng, you made a breakthrough? Zhaoani said in surprise, and a group of the strongest half-saints and saints from the outside world behind him also congratulated Feng Qing, although it was basically their first time. Seeing the wind blowing gently, it does not affect them to the wind. Qingyang spreads kindness. Duan Lingtian smiled and nodded in response. Another one enters the 8th level. As Feng Qingyang spoke, Luo Song was shocked. Although the 2nd Tao he had comprehended had reached the 6th level, he was still far from his opponent in the face of the being who had comprehended the 8th level. Any one of the 10,000 ways, the further you understand it, the more outrageous the gap becomes. Others present were also shocked when they found out that Feng Qingyang was Duan Lingshan's master, and a powerful person at the 8th level. Hello fellow Taoist Feng, I am The wind is friendly. A group of people gathered around and took the initiative to say hello to Feng Qingyang. They were all very enthusiastic. For a time, Feng Qingyang seemed to be the absolute protagonist before the arrival of Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan, and was very popular. It wasn't until one of today's two protagonists, Hong Dongchuan, appeared that everyone's attention shifted. Most people knew Hong Dongchuan and came forward to say hello. Sir Hong Dongchuan, are you sure of the battle today? Nothing. What people didn't expect was that as soon as Hong Dongchuan opened his mouth, he bluntly said that he was not sure, which shocked everyone present. They never expected that Hong Dongchuan would be timid before fighting, or that he would think he was inferior to his opponent before fighting. Lord Hong Dongchuan, are you kidding me? If you were not sure, how could you make an appointment with him to fight at Qingtian Peak? Faced with this inquiry, Hong Dongchuan said calmly, although I am not sure, I still want to have a discussion with him and see his methods. As Hong Dongchuan finished speaking, Feng Qingyang and Zhaoani saw Duan Lingtian coming from a distance. Next to Duan Lingtian, there were two young women wearing veils and an old man. The two women were his wives Qir and Huaner. As for the old man, he is Layman Tingyin from Shuoyin sect in Chuzhou. Master. As soon as Duan Lingtian came over, he saw his master, and his face suddenly showed surprise. The same was true for Qir and Huaner beside him. They didn't expect to be so unexpected and encounter such a surprise here. Master? Layman Tingyin on the side heard Duan Lingtian looking at a young man in the distance in surprise and calling him master, and his attention was immediately attracted. Because when he was still in Duan Mansion in Chuzhou, he heard many people who came to Duan Lingtian mention some things in the world of creation and birth chart. He knew that Lord Duan Lingtian had a master who was not much weaker than him. He was already on the 7th level of Taoism when he and Master Duan Lingtian were separated. Haha. Xiaotian. Feng Qingyang smiled and ran towards Duan Lingtian in both directions. In fact, it really depends on the time. The two of them haven't been separated for long, but when they meet again, they are in another world, which makes the two of them feel like they are separated from each other as if they had been separated for thousands of years for a long time. Master. Qir and Huaner also smiled and said hello. Seeing the two girls, Feng Qingyang gave a bitter smile. Xiaotian, you were very careful and didn't let my two disciples and my wife get separated. It was me. Your wife was actually not far away from me at the time, but because I was too concerned about the external situation, so much so that I and she was dispersed by the turbulent space of destruction. Ahem. Duan Lingtian coughed and directly stabbed his master's heart on a spiritual level. Master, in fact, your other two disciples and wives have not separated from me, but they are still staying in Chuzhou. There. In addition, my parents didn't get separated from me either. Hearing this, Feng Qingyang was silent for a moment, then glared at Duan Lingtian angrily. You kid, are you trying to make me angry? Haha. Duan Lingtian laughed and then said, Master, after you finish watching this showdown between me and Senior Hong Dongchuan, go to Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City. Master's second sister is also there now. Who knew? When she heard this, Feng Qingyang's pupils shrank, and then she waved her hands repeatedly. I won't go there if she's here. Chapter 46-65. Seeing the look on his master's face like a mouse seeing a cat, Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment, then asked with a wicked smile. Master, there seems to be some kind of story between you and the second sister of your master. What's the story? Feng Qingyang said angrily. I just think she is old and disrespectful, and I don't want to get too close to her. In the past, he accompanied his Taoist companion more than once to visit relatives in the 13th city of the Western Jin dynasty, outside the boundary. The brothers and sisters are okay, but the second sister is a headache, following them all the time. Not at all. I don't have the consciousness to be a light bulb. In the end, he was a little annoyed when he looked at each other. If possible, he really didn't want to see the other party. Of course, it would be impossible for him to express his inner thoughts in front of his disciples. After the destruction of the Nirvana heaven and the collapse of the turbulent space, you appeared directly in Jianglan Divine Kingdom? Feng Qingyang changed the subject and asked. He knew that his disciples' family, relatives and friends were all in the small world inside his body, but in the past, with the destruction of the nirvana sky and the collapse of the turbulent space, the small world inside the body also disappeared. There was definitely no way to allow those lives to continue. Hidden inside. Duan Lingtian nodded. We appeared in Chuzhou of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. After briefly talking to his master, Duan Lingtian saw people from the Hong mansion coming, led by the ancestor of the Hong family, Hong Dongchuan, but the Hong mansion, the head of the palace, who is also the clan leader, did not come with him. He presumably stayed in the capital. Sit in Hong mansion. Brother Lingtian, is this your master? After Hong Dongchuan came over, he greeted Duan Lingtian with a smile. For those who didn't know, he might have thought that he and Duan Lingtian were old friends for many years because his tone was too familiar and enthusiastic. Brother Hong. Duan Lingtian said hello and then nodded. This is my master, Feng Qingyang. Master, this is Brother Hong from the Hong mansion, and my opponent today, the prison-suppressing sword Hong Dongchuan. Although Feng Qingyang knew who Duan Lingtian's opponent was, she had no idea that his disciple was so familiar with him. From what he had just said to others, it seemed more like he was building momentum and paving the way for his disciple. Then I'll ask you to call me Brother Hong. Feng Qingyang looked at Hong Dongchuan and greeted with a smile. Of course, no problem. Let's talk about our own things. I'll call you Brother Feng. Hong Dongchuan smiled and nodded. Brother Feng, you are really powerful. You can actually have a disciple as talented and evil as Brother Lingtian. Like me, Hong Dongchuan, I have accepted many disciples in my life, but few of them have achieved success. As soon as Hong Dongchuan said this, 2 of the dozen or so people following behind him looked a little embarrassed, and one person even touched his nose in embarrassment. It was as if they were deeply afraid that others would not know that they were Hong Dongquan's disciples. I didn't expect it either. Feng Qingyang responded with a smile, not forgetting to show off. Speaking of which, I only accepted such a disciple, and most of the time I just let him go. I didn't expect him to reach this point and still be ahead of me. As soon as these words came out, the scene fell into a brief silence. They were all installed by him. Ahem. Hong Dongchuan coughed twice and felt that he could no longer talk to the other party. Brother Feng, you and I will talk later. Today, I will first learn Brother Lingtian's methods, and then I will entertain you well. Hearing this, Feng Qingyang responded with a smile. When the other people present heard Hong Dongquan's words, their eyes suddenly lit up. They had already been impatient when Hong Dongchuan arrived. Just when Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan greeted each other, they separated on 2 sides, and the others stayed away, giving them a large space to confront each other. Another group of people came from afar. Seeing the person coming, many people gasped. They are from the royal family. Jianglan Divine Kingdom royal family. However, although many people came from the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, the strongest among those who came were only the 2 who had entered the 7th level, and none of the top 4 people in the royal family came. Among the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, there are 4 people above the 8th level. 2 of them have entered the 8th level, 1 has entered the 9th level, and 1 is said to have entered the Hudao. I've met Brother Hong. Brother Hong, we are here to cheer you on. The 2 royal family members on the 7th floor greeted Hong Dongchuan with a smile, and their words were quite familiar. I didn't expect you 2 to come. Brother Lingtian and I are about to start a battle, so I want to introduce you to you now. I will give you a proper introduction after this battle is over. Hong Dongchuan also bowed his hands to the 2 of them and responded with a smile. Easy to say you are busy. Immediately afterwards, the attention of everyone present was focused on Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan. Most people's breathing stagnated for a moment, waiting for the start of this battle. Duan Lingtian stared at Hong Dongchuan from the air. When Hong Dongquan's face turned serious, he still had a calm expression. He has enough confidence to face another 8th level Daoist like this. Even looking at the entire world of gods and earth, he doesn't think anyone who has entered the 8th level can be stronger than him. just because he not only comprehended the way of swordsmanship to the 8th level, but also comprehended the way of control, and the way of infinity to the 7th level. These are the benefits gained from his fusion of the memories left by Old Man Wukong. If he were allowed to comprehend it on his own, no matter how good his cultivation resources were and how powerful he was, it would be difficult for him to comprehend the second path to the 7th level, let alone the 3rd level. Zhong Dao also realized the 7th level. At first he was not clear about this, but Layman Tungyun solved his doubts. Certainly. In this battle with Hong Dongchuan he had no intention of using all his strength. I just planned to use the method of control additionally. Wow. Suddenly, Hong Dongquan's robe shook, and then with him as the center, it seemed as if the eye of a hurricane appeared. The strong wind swept across, shaking the void, making bursts of dull sounds. This is not the law of wind, and there is no elemental law in this world of gods and earth. This is the effect produced by Hong Dongquan's vast power being released. The power of entering the 8th level cannot be compared with that of entering the 7th level. In the past, the monsters behind the mysterious entrances had only the strength of the 8th level, and no elemental laws to rely on. However, they were able to defeat the monsters with only the strength of the 8th level, and one of the 10,000 ways they mastered. The most powerful 7th level who has mastered the elemental laws of Dzogchen. Although this is due to the fact that the 10,000 Daos the monster controls is stronger, the higher level of power it controls cannot be underestimated. Boom. With an explosion, the Hong Dongchuan man had disappeared on the spot. As the biting wind blew up, a knife shadow appeared in his hand. It was a virtual shadow at first, then quickly solidified and turned into a giant knife. The next moment, the sword light burst out, roaring out with a terrifying sword path. Not only, at the same time as the sword light flashed out, gusts of dark wind blew up, as if there were ghosts crying and wolves howling, which made people feel horrified when they heard it, as if they were in hell. This is also the second way that Hong Dongchuan has mastered, the way of purgatory. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.